What's up, potheads and political junkies? You're watching Cannabis Culture News Live. Jeremiah here with Mr. Cookie at the lovely 307 West Hastings in Vancouver, our Cannabis Culture Lounge. Chilling, getting close to 420. Things are crazy around here. Every second of the day is taken up with some nuttiness to do with something. But it's going quite well. And as you can see on the desk in front of us here, we have a lot of joints put together by the Holy Rollers.
Some fat joints here.
Some fatty bags of joints. Oh, they've got joints scattered all over them now, but they're
It's like a seedling of joints.
There's like some real, boom. These are thick, so you can see. Uh-oh, we dropped. Oh, that's right. So we have the Holy Rollers in the Cannabis Culture Lounge rolling up joints. We got Yo, he's one of them right there. We're going to have him on the show in a little bit and get him to take a big bong toke or something.
Bong ripping.
But we also, in the hot seat right now, we have the crew from Hempire. Here they are. What's up, guys?
What's going on?
And there's Neil Magnuson in the background, too, just so you know. He's rolling joints.
He's doing a fine job.
Doing a fine job. So for those who don't know, and the viewers of this show, I'm sure a lot of our viewers do know what Hempire is, but we'll let you guys take the ball on this one and just tell us what you guys do and what Hempire is all about. And Jamie, Jamie from Hempire, and my friend, I've forgotten your name, I'm so sorry.
That's all good. I'm Sol, and I'm one of the co-founders.
There you go. Oh, yeah, that's right. You gave me a card last time. See, I actually forgot Jamie's name last time while we were standing there. I was like, oh, Jamie's coming on. Who's Jamie? Is that a boy or a girl? And then she's like, it's her. It's like, oh, yeah. I smoke a lot of pot, so that's my excuse. But, yeah, so what's up with Hempire, guys?
Yeah, so we're actually really stoked to join you guys on 420. So just doing a lot of prep for our booth. We'll be at number 72. So basically what we are is we're a weed growing mobile game. And in my opinion, the best weed growing mobile game.
And this is like iTunes available?
Yeah, it's on iOS and Android.
Yeah, and I wouldn't even say our opinion. It's actually our community that speaks loud and clear. We're actually the highest rated cannabis game in the world.
Yeah, you guys have had huge success.
Yeah, absolutely. We're born and raised right here in Vancouver. This is our hometown. I grew up in the medical cannabis industry and wanted to see how we could not only create a great entertaining thing for our community, but literally present cannabis in the most authentic way in a digital space and really promote some positive values towards cannabis and cannabis culture. So for us, it's a project of passion. It's not just a game. And what we found by building this game is not only do we have a great game that's fun, but we've really built a community around it. And today we've just crossed over 5.5 million installs.
Damn.
And we're growing by about 20 to 30,000 a day.
Wow.
And that just speaks to not only the quality of the team that built this game, but it really speaks to the quality of the community and how much the community really supports the type of products that are coming out there.
Those are huge numbers. That's just massive. So, oh, okay. Just so you guys, just so our audience knows, I actually haven't played the game before. I've seen it. You guys showed me some of the cool interactions of the game and stuff. Tell people what you actually do in the game and what the whole thing's about.
Yeah, for sure. So Hempire is free to play, so anyone can jump on. It's free to download. There's no requirements to spend money. Obviously, we do have the ability to spend a little bit of cash in game if you want to, make your city a little bit better. Boost up some of your products. But at the end of the day, Hempire is a story of not only rags to riches, but of poverty to success. And what it is it's placed in a city where cannabis is legal. They just legalized. They're going through some economic ruin, which can honestly speak for a lot of places out there in the world. And they're using the power of growing the green to rebuild their town, and not only rebuild it economically, but building relationships with the people in that town. People dealing with PTSD. Your uncle or your brother who's in the wheelchair, or just making business deals. If you want to grow your Hempire and just build the baddest Hempire in town, you can do that too. So it's really about building good green, growing good strains, and I will speak to the authenticity a little bit. Our strains in our game, the genealogy is accurate, real world, back 2,000 years. The strains you make, collect, breed are all real world strains. We go into things like potency, aroma, medical benefits, that kind of stuff. So again, it's how do we make a game that's authentic? How do we make a game that really speaks to the cannabis community? But how do we make a game that's fun? And that's what it's all about.
Very cool. Yeah, the game looks dope. And I don't have a heck of a lot of time to to play games. But I mean, there's some other games out there that is kind of similar to like Farmville style or something. Is that similar? Like I've never played any of these construction games, so I'm envisioning like a Sim City or something.
Yeah,
you know?
so it's definitely like a weed farming game, 100%.
Yeah.
But I think what sets us apart is like what Solon was saying, like wanting to educate people. So what's really cool is like, even for me personally, like I come from a gaming background, but I didn't have as much exposure to the cannabis community. But like working with these guys for the last year, it's been crazy like how much more appreciation I have for the folks in it. And the number of people that we have that play the game, because they were like, oh, I've always been curious, but like, you know, had never been exposed. And they're like, I never knew that there was all these like medical benefits to it. And like, you know, when you hear people saying like, oh yeah, I've been going through PTSD and like, both weed and your game have been helping me like cope with day-to-day life, and like that's like the most rewarding feedback you can get from like working on something like this.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, and bringing an actual, real sort of educational experience to the game, that's awesome. Like, you know, rather than just sort of paying it, you know, it's a weed game or whatever, you guys are actually, you know, bringing something real to it. So I think that's very fun because people are on their phones all the time. Might as well get them learning something while they play. Yeah. Very
learning
cool.
actual facts as opposed to just hearsay or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot to learn about cannabis.
Oh, so much.
It's endless. And not just, I mean, obviously about growing cannabis, there's a hell of a lot to learn if you haven't done that before, but just about cannabis in general and all, you know, how it affects people. And we're learning every day. I was just talking to Jody yesterday about, she learned some new things about smoking cannabis and traffic accidents. You know, and she kind of had thought she had learned everything there is to learn, and we were learning new things all the time, that cannabis actually protects people. People who are cannabis smokers, when they get in a traffic accident, just being a smoker actually protects your brain in a different way. It like, I'm not sure exactly what the details are, but they find that people who are regular smokers of cannabis are less hurt in car accidents. Strangely.
Less trauma, too.
Less trauma to their bodies, yeah. So yeah, interesting things all the time, constantly learning new things. And you guys have been, this is your 1-year anniversary coming up.
Yeah.
Right?
So we're super pumped. Jamie actually started 1 year ago on the day, 420, and we first promoted Hempire down at Vancouver 420, handing out stickers. And you know what? We were just a game trying to make something cool.
Thanks.
And now it's a year later. We're over 5.5 million installs. We're hoping to hit 6 by 420. And not only do we want to celebrate our 1 year, but we really want to embrace what Vancouver 420 is as we move towards legalization. So this is a chance for us to celebrate in our hometown with the people that really helped make this game. So
Nice.
we'll be down there. We'll be giving out shirts. We'll be giving out things. We'll be basically just supporting the community and
Gonna
come
buy
down
a
and say
giant
hi.
cake and like give it out to people at 420.
Yeah. Well, that's very cool. Happy anniversary. Yeah, and 420, I mean, it's a perfect spot for it. You guys are going to, I mean, it's obviously you guys were there last year. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And what was the booth number again?
Number 72.
72. So that's right up front. That's
Yeah.
pretty close to the Cannabis Culture booth in the Dab Village there. And just so everybody that's watching knows, if you're coming to 420 this year, we're actually going to have map brochures, like pieces of paper with a map on it. We did booklets last year, but instead we're just going to do a one gatefold sheet this year. It's got the map, and it'll have all those booths listed on it. It's kind of hard in the past to find some of the booths because there's like, 400 of them there or whatever. But all the ones in the area that we reserve, we're going to actually have a map for them. You'll be able to find them. And they're going to, this year, we're going to produce stickers that everybody can actually put on their booth with their number on it, so that everybody can see. Once then, you're out in the crowd, you don't even need the thing. You can just look up and you'll be able to see the numbers. So
I
very
guarantee you'll be able to find us. We got some cool things in store for you guys.
Very cool. So, Hempire, you guys have basically dominated that market. Are you brewing up any other goodies, or what's in future here? I know this, I'm springing this on you, but...
We got some things in the work, but I don't want to go too far down the path of what other games might look like. But in terms of Hempire itself, we're only a year in, and this game has 2 years of incredible features that we're looking forward to releasing. One of them we just rolled out last week, I guess. Yeah. And this is about creating that competition, but also building that community. So we just launched Enterprises in Hempire, where you can literally build a team of your friends inside the game, chat with your friends inside the game,
Nice.
and accomplish goals together. So it's, again, when we built this game, it wasn't just about having fun, but it's how do we build a community, right? And how do we get people to engage with each other from around the world?
And I super just want to give out a shout out to any hempers that are watching, because that's what we call our players, hempers. Because honestly, we wouldn't be here without any of you. What's insane about our game is we have an in-game forum, and part of why I love this team and this game is because our players are so freaking awesome. And I think part of it is because, like, you know, it's that stoner community vibe where everybody's just super into helping each other. And I just love being a part of that. So thank you.
Very cool. Now, because it's cannabis related, you know, somebody told me that there was another game that got in trouble because they were cannabis related, and they got booted out of there or something, Ganja Farmer or something like that. But have you guys run into any trouble? I know sometimes the authorities that make these things happen, they're not so friendly to cannabis.
So right from the get-go, we recognized that we were kind of ahead of the curve, right? And, you know, big companies that we have to deal with from distribution, from Google to Apple, the biggest concern was how do we make sure that we're working within their policies and presenting a positive image around the cannabis space. So right from the get-go, we made sure that we were not promoting illegal activity, not trying to do, you know, anything that would really put down the community or the type of game that we wanted to build. So we've actually worked directly with our distribution. We actually had Google up here yesterday, and they love what we do. We're actually the first pot game in the world to actually be marketed by Google.
Nice. Very cool.
As of last week.
Huh.
Yeah.
And yeah, because they usually turn down even AdWords and stuff that have pot in them.
So literally, we are the first cannabis game approved by Google AdWords.
Nice. Congrats on that.
Breaking new ground.
That's right.
That's fantastic. You guys are pioneering.
And that's what you got to do, right? One step at a time.
Exactly.
Very cool. That's fantastic. Well, it's going to be fun to see you guys at 420. If people want to find the game, I mean, obviously they can go to some of the major game engines to do that. Do you guys have a website or something?
Yeah, hempiregame.com.
Hempiregame.com. So definitely check out.
You can also find us on Google. You can find us on iTunes. You can find us on Amazon, or just check out our website, check out the trailer, and see if it's a fit for you. But like I said, it's free to play. So come check it out.
Beautiful.
Also, I got a present for you, Jeremiah.
Oh, nice. Awesome. Yeah, Hempire shirt here. Let's show it off. Yeah, nice. There's that logo. It's a medium. Thank you very much. I very much like that logo. I'll be sporting that one on the show for sure. So, yeah, come and get a piece of cake at the Hempire booth at 420.
Yeah, come get a piece of cake. Come down. We'll be giving away shirts. We'll be giving away lanyards. We'll be giving away all kinds of good stuff.
Yeah, we've got like a photo booth. One of our hardcore fans from Shawnigan Lake, we're helping pay for her to come down, and she's like making all these art props for us, like some of our things in game, like our like Laura Hampson, you're freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Like we've got like edibles in game, like our dank donut and our pot pie, and she's like making little like foam things of them. So it's gonna be awesome.
Very cool. Well, thanks, guys. Really appreciate having you on the show. Totally awesome to have you and have you at 420 as well. So, yeah, check them out, guys. Hempire, hempiregame.com.
Thanks for having us. We're super stoked to be here and always looking to grow with you guys. Oh, we got more swag getting handed out. Nice.
There you go. Yeah, Anne's got one. Awesome. Well, let's keep in touch, guys. We should, do this more often. We'll have you guys back on the show soon when you got more stuff coming out and everything.
Anytime.
Yeah, for sure. Excellent. Thanks, guys. Cheers. Cheers. And so go check out Hempire. Go get that game and do a lot of playing and learning. If you want to,
if you want to learn
beef up your
someone
skills,
about the marijuana, there you go.
Exactly. And the game looks dope. The stuff you guys showed me, I mean, it looks pretty friggin' cool, man.
You should check out our trailer.
Oh yeah, there's a trailer. Oh shit. Well, you know what?
Play it. Trailer that we
Could you
filmed
throw
here
it
in
up?
Vancouver, and it is insane.
We're gonna play it on the show today. If you guys give me the
Action on our website, Kevin. Yeah, go
Perfect.
to
hempiregame.com. We'll bring it up.
That
Absolutely.
game was filmed in all of our friends' grows, dispensaries around Vancouver, and we really want to try to merge reality with the game and make it fun, right? You know, to just promote a brand, and this is all about having some fun. So
Very cool. Where on the website is it? Keep scrolling here.
Scrolling.
Oh, scrolling.
Right there.
Ah, there it is. Okay. I'm going to beef this up here. And so how did it is 420, beautiful. Just a question, guys. What was the genesis of this game, really? Like, how did it come up? Who thought of the game? What was the first inkling of, I want to make a weed game?
That's a long story for a full interview, but the short version is me and my co-founder were sitting around my dining table, and we'd been doing our jobs for a while, and we realized that you got to have passion in life to be happy to go to work, and we wanted to figure out how we could get into tech and how we could make a difference in the cannabis space. And Hempire is where we started. We had a name. We didn't know what it was going to be, and we grew from there.
Well, very cool. There you go. So this is just going to take me a second. I'm just adding a source, so it's going to go like right over your guys' faces for a sec, since we didn't do this earlier, but we'll do a screen cap. Yeah, we'll try to do it over Neil's face.
Yeah, just to the corner.
That's right. so we don't break any camera lenses. All right, there it is. So let's see this one. This is the trailer for Hempire the game.
Hold on to your seats, everyone.
Hold on. Yeah, there you go. Uh-oh. There it is. All right, press and play. Oh, shit. It's not coming up. It's on mute, but the problem is that it's not. No, they can't see that right now. It's just black.
Watching it.
So I'll get it in Internet Explorer. Oh, jeez.
Internet Explorer. What is that?
I'm surprised that's even still exists, but
Still on there, is it?
oh, can I hit full screen? Okay, and should I just hold on? I'll do it here first, and then just cut and paste. Yeah. And that makes it. Sorry, guys. We're doing tech stuff on the show.
It's
we
like
didn't.
he's hacking. I have no idea what's going on over
Yeah,
there.
exactly. So, and then maybe I'll let you do that. You're the Alyssa, boss Alyssa, on the boards as usual.
Right here.
She's the master. Knows which buttons to press.
Got this. Do you need the www? Or all good?
No, it worked.
Worked.
There you go. Now you get to see the whole website too.
There you go. Scroll down, and then you'll see the thing. Yeah.
Pretty
Little
dope
more,
website.
little more. There it is.
All right.
And make sure you got volume. It's
We actually have.
crucial. Yeah, that is crucial.
Is volume on?
Crucial.
Internet. What are you doing now?
Just yeah, it's Explorer. It's exploring.
It's Internet Explorer. Don't expect too much.
Dusting itself off.
That is odd, isn't it? Yeah, it usually does it pretty quick. Uh-oh. Yeah, maybe that'll do it. It doesn't want to do nothing.
Going on.
Putting
Yeah.
the internet on the screen is not so easy.
It's funny how that's working. Well, I don't know why that's not working. We still actually have control of it here. Oh, there it is. Where's that volume? Oh, yeah, they can hear it, but we can't.
You think you can grow the dankest weed? The stickiest of the icky, the most bubonic of all chronic. We're talking harvesting that green, turning that kush into cash, those brownies, Benjamins. And then hitting the lab, breeding new strains that'll make them say, do you have the cojones to hit the streets and hustle? So you're making those big time deals, and you're making those baller stacks. Living that Hempire life. Do you have what it takes to be crowned the Hemperor?
I don't know. Maybe?
Nice hat, Steve.
It's a crown, Sharon.
Very nice. That's cool. Awesome. Well, I'm sorry I couldn't go full screen, but you guys got the picture. Good. Yeah. So check it out, Hempire. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. Oh, now you're a block now too. There we go. There we go. We got your back. Lots of fun. All right. Well, check it out, HempireGame.com, and come down to 420 and see the booth. Get some cake and get a T-shirt. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. For sure. So it's a busy show here. We got a room full of people. Spicoli just stopped by with some pizza, apparently.
No worries.
So I don't know what's going on with that,
weed
but
pizza?
it might be actually. You know, everything he does is infused. He's the Love Buds guy, so he brings in bags and bags of infused stuff for us all the time. So. Yeah, and if we're talking about 420. If you like edibles, the place to get them is definitely 420.
Yeah.
There's really no place on the planet that has that many cannabis edibles all available in one place, or just cannabis-related things.
You could probably fill up a whole shopping cart there if you had like the
Quite
will
easily.
and the freezer to do it if you needed that for the year or whatever.
We should do a video of that. Somebody just going around and just filling up a shopping cart with all the goodies. One from each booth. Yeah, we'll give Yo a shopping cart. Yeah.
Little wagon or a basket.
Yes.
You're like held down.
So this year, for 420, we're going to have, as we do every year, a big joint toss that we do from stage right at the 420 moment, where these joints get tossed out to the crowd, a lot of them. And we have our master joint roller here with us at the moment, Mr. Neil Magnuson. Hi, Neil. How you doing? I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm just rolling joints.
He's still rolling. Neil has rolled every single one of these joints by himself.
He just kept rolling.
All of them. Yeah.
Quality control, maybe.
No, we have a fine team of holy rollers who come in.
I could not do that by myself.
No, definitely. It would take you probably a good 6 months to roll.
Well, I don't know about that. You know,
As slow as you roll.
Wow, what do you mean?
Perfection takes time.
I'm not bad. I'm not bad. We got some machines up there though.
Oh, do ya?
Harry Pothead, man, that guy can roll. Holy shit.
Faster than a machine?
Well, I don't know.
Then
better
he's
than a
hired.
machine.
Yeah.
He's got that personal touch, which is better than a machine, and he just keeps putting them out. He ends up with a big pile in no time. He's really good.
That's very
really
cool.
good,
That's cool.
He's been rolling for a long time. He's one of the originals, you know, from way back when. We got a few originals. We got Dale up there. She's been there for a long time.
Yep.
Yeah.
14 years for Dale.
Hey, Peanut Gallery, keep it down over there.
Back end.
Yeah. So 420, if you want to help and volunteer, we have one more volunteer meeting before the event actually happens on the 14th of April here at Cannabis Culture, Saturday. So if you're out there, this is your last chance to come down and actually learn from us what you do on 420. But if you can't make it and you want to come down and volunteer anyway, that's totally cool. The real key is coming down on the day of 420. Don't worry, we'll put you to work and you will know what you
5 o'clock on that Saturday, by the way.
Yes, it's 5 p.m. on Saturday, April 14th. 307 West Hastings, downtown Vancouver.
It's good to come to the meeting ahead of time to get oriented about a number of different things that we go over every time. So.
It is.
Yeah.
We appreciate you guys coming to the meetings and just drilling this shit into your heads because it makes you into experts, and then you guys know exactly what to do.
What's up?
Yeah. And this year,
like this event happens because of the volunteers, really, eh? I mean, so much that the volunteers are involved with, and we wouldn't be able to do it probably without that.
Totally. No, the volunteers, they make it happen, man. We wouldn't have an event without them.
Yeah.
Simple as that. There's no way we can do all this stuff by ourselves.
Yeah.
And it really does take a lot.
Yep, it does.
I mean, it takes a shitload, and we've raised already I'm not. I guess I could say how much we've raised. We've raised at least $270,000.
Wow.
To do this 420 so far this year.
Nice.
Cool.
So, and by the end
That's better than any other year by far, right?
Oh yeah, more than we raised about 170 last year, maybe close to 200 total. So we've been done really well this year.
Cool.
I sort of tweaked the way we do things in order to make a little bit more money, selling more advertising. The booths cost a little extra, but it's going to be worth it because this year we're going to be able to put down some Duradeck flooring on the spots where there's destined to be mud. And
the mud.
Typically, there's a bit of a shortfall at the end of these events. There's a lot of costs involved.
Yes.
But this year, I mean, it's a not-for-profit organization.
We don't make profit.
That puts this on. And if there is money left over, it's going to charity this year. So that's really, really cool as well.
Yeah, it's our dedication that any leftover cash goes to charity or goes back into the event for next year. Everything, we don't take anything. All of us that make it happen are volunteers as
Everybody's a volunteer. I'm a volunteer. You're a volunteer.
All of us. Yeah. I mean, we pay the people who build the stage or do some of those things.
That's stuff.
Yeah, there are the professionals that have to be paid to do these things.
Yeah.
You can't have the ambulance service people being volunteers because they just
in the future they might be.
Maybe,
that's right.
I'm sure if they put it out there to the police, we'd have a number of them step forward and say, "Yeah, I'll just go to the event and volunteer."
Wrong cam.
Instead, they charge us a whole ton of money for them.
Yeah. They do,
or want
and
to.
they'd like to. The city of Vancouver would like to charge us more money. We pay for a whole shitload of stuff down there, including crazy stuff like having to have the ground sonared, and so we don't. Anytime we're putting generators down, everything's got to be done. Engineered
reseeded
drawings of
last
the stages,
year, and paid to have it reseeded last year.
Paid to have the field reseeded,
which I don't even think they did.
Maybe it looks great.
You don't have to reseed an already grassy area, right? It seeds, it regrows itself.
Yeah.
You can't keep that stuff from growing.
Grass grows. Yeah.
Grass just grows, man. I mean,
if it's just like a spot, it's gonna get filled in. Yeah.
Yeah.
We talked about that. They were on to us, though.
They were. They didn't want
throw
us.
down a bunch of hemp seeds last year.
We actually asked them if we could reseed it ourselves, but my smirk, they got wise to it because they knew we were going to be putting the hemp seeds down. But it's funny, they do. There's a few people of course, this is the Parks Board we deal with now because we're
and
in
it's not Parks and Recs.
It's not, no. And these guys, they get very protective of their park. Like the park ranger guy is like, it's a personal thing to him, It's and when we come down there and muck it up, he's like, "Oh, you guys made a mess last year." He like actually feels the pain from
like,
Did you point out to him that the field looks better after what was happened last year than it's ever looked before?
Indeed, I did.
Good.
I said that, so he was complaining about that, and I said, "Well, look at it now. It looks great. Yeah. How'd that happen?" And he's like, "Oh, just kind of."
It wasn't great when we started there.
Yeah, it looks. No, actually, the last couple of years, the places looked like shit before we got there. Yeah. It's been completely muddy.
Very
pools of
unslanted,
water.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we took pictures all the way up from the years before, and it always looked like, and if you go and look at the actual map that I use on the website, it's from Google Maps a couple years ago. The place is all gross, it's all dried, it's terrible. So it looks pretty good now. Yeah, and so, next year if they say, complain about us ruining it, we just point to the field, it looks fine. Yes.
It's good.
It's fine.
Look at the green grass.
Hey, man, if they want us out of the park.
Just drips, though, as they're so concerned about every aspect of our event, and so many of these other events come along, do very similar things, and there's no public outcry. There's no parks board screaming about these things with those other events.
The booze fest, you mean.
There's a real
and they literally admitted to me, the fire guy and the police people admitted that the reason that they don't want food trucks down there is because they don't want to lend legitimacy to the event.
Right.
That if it's not an officially sanctioned event, they just don't want it to look official.
Right. So people will be selling food out of the booths because that's safer for Vancouver citizens.
Yeah, and that's actually what it comes down to, is that Vancouver Coastal Health argues on our side. They say you should have food down there. You should have food trucks. That should be allowed. It's a health issue.
Yeah.
But they're just like, well,
You can't say it actually happened by letting you have food trucks.
Well,
never actually.
And they already actually permit us to do this. They like to pretend that they don't send us a permit, but I get a letter every year that's essentially a permit saying what we can do there, what we can't do. But the parks board themselves, Sarah Kirby Young and her crew at the NPA and the people who run that board, they don't want us in the park. They don't want us legal.
And there's nothing controversial in that letter that they send with respect to what we can't do as far as like smoking weed or selling weed or anything like that.
It allows us to smoke pot.
There you go.
Yeah, so for all those who think that we're, completely breaking every law, the city doesn't bother us about our weed smoking, because how can they? I mean, there's way too many of us. If they tried to bother us, they'd have a damn army of pot smokers up their ass. So I don't know.
Blazing everywhere all the time.
I mean, they base things on complaints, but for every complaint they would get about pot smoke, and they'd have 20 complaints about the complaint.
Fully. And Neil's one of the ones who actually knows what it's like when the cops do interrupt our events and
first-handed.
First-handed, yes. With knees on his neck and thrown into the back of a paddy wagon and everything.
It was a horrible day, 2015, July 1st, they tried to shut us down.
Oh, yeah.
That
was Cannabis Day.
We'll talk a bit about the Cannabis
But Neil is famous. Show it off, Neil.
Famous. Look at this guy.
Let's talk about it now.
My mom will be so proud because she always wanted me to be a preacher.
Hold it up closer to the cam.
There you go.
Beautiful.
So, Neil, why are you on the front of that magazine? What is it you're preaching about?
What is this? What's on that plate?
What is that, Neil?
I'm sure everybody knows by now that for over a year we've been running the Cannabis Substitution Project out of Vandu, and we give out bags, not plates, full of wonderful edibles to people, several edibles and a couple of joints per bag to about 160 to 180 people every week. And now, with permission from the Vandu board, we've expanded the project. We're going two days a week now for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Which is, a little more. These are some of the brownies that we've just been donated here. There's some caps in there. There's a whole bunch of good stuff. In fact, maybe you can see it all in the. And every week is different to a degree. We have a few.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Very nice.
We have a few regular suppliers.
Brownies,
Green
joints.
Wilderness has been awesome in providing us with gummies for weeks. 30 weeks or something like that. And Michael the Cookie Monster, he's got these really nutritious, wholesome cookies that he provides us a couple hundred of those a week.
Nice.
So yeah, and there's a bunch of others. I'd be remiss to not mention the Medicinal Cannabis Dispensary,
of course,
because they've been big time in getting us the cannabis that we need for that. So yeah, there's a whole lot of people involved. We need more help, by the way. On that note, we've expanded to 2 days a week. It's not doubling the amount that we're giving out per week, but it's certainly maybe 50% or 60% more.
You're getting people through a lot easier probably because they can kind of re-up if they need.
No, not exactly, because in conjunction with going to 2 days a week, we've decided to try to do as much research as we can and gather statistics about how the program is working for people. So I have been taking a little more time with the people that come to the table, taking their names, what year they were born, and just preparing them a little bit that we're going to have some sort of an information form for them to fill out questions and stuff. So yeah, we are actually taking a little more time per person, although yesterday it was raining and we didn't want to leave them standing out in the rain, so we did move it through pretty fast. And I'd already taken names for 2 weeks, and I thought I'd set that aside for last night just because of the weather.
Yeah.
We're still not where we want to be eventually, with having a much larger venue where people could come inside instead of outside. We're not where we want to be yet with respect to the bags that we give out, because we're wanting to be, and that's part of what the questionnaire is going to be about, is to figure out what works best for people. Or do they need indica, sativa, you know, what type of edibles do they like? Do they like the caps? Do the caps work better than the brownies? You know, because everybody's so individual when it comes to this.
True.
And to get a sense of how we can help these people better, what amounts they need to get them through to the next time that they can come. Because the spirit of the project is to make it available free, so that people have every opportunity to transition off of the street drugs that are killing people at such an alarming rate. And so that is the eventual end goal of this project, is to be that type of a program that has everything that people need, you know, for every day of the week. But for now, we're still giving out, you know, several edibles and a couple of joints per care pack now twice a week. So yeah, very proud of the project. It's
been good.
It's getting such amazing feedback from people. The comments that we get from the people coming through the lineups of how they're finally sleeping, their aches and pains are better. There's a whole lot of other benefits that come from using cannabis besides just not having to use so much of the street drugs and opioids. So yeah, happy with that project. I'm glad we got to talk about it. That's great.
And it actually modulates that opioid too, so that's kind of a good thing too, I bet.
It is, yeah. We get reports of that they need to use less, that it helps them get more of the feeling that they're looking for. Yep. Everybody's on their own individual journey, you know, with what types of drugs work for them. The population that we're serving on the downtown east side through Van Du are people that have a lot of barriers. They've had a lot of struggles in their life. They've been traumatized from childbirth in many cases, in most cases. And they find themselves struggling with addiction, because that's how we cope with these things. Opioid seems to work, but so do cannabis edibles and cannabis concentrates. So that's the real message, and the media is picking up on that. That's the good news about a story like that one that ran in the Courier. The Georgia Straits had some good stories as well. There's been some other ones now. There's new studies out as well. And that's the real thing. We want to get that message out there for people, because they come from all walks of life. The opioid crisis is not a homeless downtown east side problem at all. They're from all areas of the city. And we want all areas of the city to really understand that you can get help with this addiction that's driving you to the streets and threatening and risking your lives. You can go to a cannabis dispensary and get some caps, or you can find some edibles online, or you can come to our project at Van Du and get some edibles there. But the key thing is that edibles work. They work. You can't just stop using the opioids that you're on and you know, put them in the garbage and go straight to edibles. You're going to have some withdrawal symptoms to deal with. But over a transition of time, the process has worked for many, many, many people. I know dozens and dozens of people that used to be addicted to those hard drugs, and they'll tell you cannabis saved their life. Many of them are working in dispensaries now because they want to give back, and I meet so many of them every day because of this project as well. So that's what we're trying to do, is help the population that can't afford it to get the edibles that they need to help them with that, and to get the message out there to everybody else. Find a source of edibles or good concentrates and work with it. Use it to figure out for you how you can help yourself and not risk your life with what's going on here.
So cool to spread it all over the country.
Yeah, there's other chapters that are opening up in several different places. I consult almost every other day now. I've got somebody contacting me and saying, hey, we'd like to do this in Winnipeg, we'd like to do this in Peterborough, we'd like to do this in Ottawa. And what I say to all those people is that if there's a user group there, you need to connect with them. So if there's a group that represents the users in that city, a harm reduction group of some sort, like we have Van Du here, there's Solid on the island, there's a bunch of these types of groups, and that's the first place to start. Go and get the backing of those people to approve what you want to do, and then go to City Hall and probably get nothing from them, because you know, that was my experience here in Vancouver, one of the more progressive cities, and what we got here from City Council after presenting to them what our idea was nothing. This is an illegal substance, it's a federally controlled substance, we can't be behind any of that. So then, you know, get together some donations and start a process of handing them out and figuring out how to get them to the population, and it will evolve pretty much on its own. So that's my advice to people. Connect with the user group. And if there is no user group in your city or town, then look into starting one. You can contact Van Du, and they'll help you with how to start a user group, how to get in touch with the people and get the word out that you're there to represent them and to help them. And it is very important to do that, because there's a lot of people, way more people than anybody realizes, that are involved with those types of drugs in our society. They're hidden away. Nobody knows it. You'd be very surprised. and they're dying because they can only go to the streets to get what they want because it's not available to them in ways that are reasonable. So we need reasonable access to clean drugs to help people, and cannabis is certainly a substitute that works for many people, but not for everybody. And for those, I mean, it's an adult thing. You know, having the criminal law involved with drugs has always been a complete violation of our rights, and it's never done any good. It's always exacerbated all of the abuse problems. It's guaranteed an unregulated underground market. It's increased the desire for these things, especially amongst our youthful population, the marginalized populations. So it never has done any good to try criminalizing people for drug use that society thinks is bad, and we need a much different approach to that. And for those people that insist on having other harder drugs for whatever their needs are, and that's up to them, and nobody can ever know what another person's needs are but them. We need to have reasonable access for that so that they're not driven to the streets and then involved with tainted, deadly opioids and fentanyl and stuff. So
Exactly.
Well, good work, Neil, and good on you for all of this.
good
It's
on
pretty
that.
amazing.
we're going to have a booth at 420. We'll segue back to 420 because that's kind of where we were.
Oh, good.
But yeah, we're going to be there at 420. Thanks to Cannabis Culture for providing a booth for the Cannabis Substitution Project.
Did we work out what booth you're going to actually get yet?
It's in that cluster of 12 with the weeds
Oh,
and
it
with
is.
Dory and
Okay,
with
good.
Sea of Green.
Because I didn't see it. I didn't actually.
I've got my papers right in my
Oh,
pocket here.
good.
So
Good. You'll need those.
you want
We're
me to
just
show-
about out of
you want-
booths completely.
Do you want me to show that paper?
What paper? Sure, show it. So yeah, the service we provide for people at 420 is that we actually go down and hold booth spots for people. That's how we collect money for the stage. We charge you just to hold a spot for you, and we make you sign a little contract that says you're not gonna, blow the place up or make it too
Leave a
dirty
big
or
mess.
messy. Take your garbage with you or put it in the designated garbage areas. No open flames besides dab torches.
Opportunities for advertising that
Neil.
may still
Unlike
exist,
people
yes?
last year, it just
Are there still opportunities for advertising and promotion?
There are still advertising opportunities available for the big screen and our music posters, but our main poster is already out and being hung as we speak everywhere. So
I'm booth
get on the main
62
poster.
apparently. I'm booth 62.
Neil, good. Booth Cannabis
Cannabis
Substitution
Substitution
Project
Project
62. There you go. So great work, Neil, and we will see you at 420 for sure. Neil has a lot of duties at 420, though. It's not just the Cannabis Substitution Project.
Yep.
He is in charge of what you see here in front of us,
These
making
joints.
sure the joints get divvied up correctly, and just does some emceeing duties for us as well, I believe, that day.
Yeah, I'm always
Sing
very
a song or two.
privileged and thrilled to be doing that. I get to talk to the people once in a while, so that's great. And I know cannabis. This is my 20th year for 420.
Wow.
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 Yeah, 1999 was the first 420 that I went to.
Very cool.
And here in 2018 is actually the 20th 420 that I've gone to and been very much involved right from the very beginning. That first one that we went to, we took it upon ourselves, my son and I, to clean the grounds after the thing. And
Was it at the art gallery at that
it was
time?
at the art gallery in 1999.
Yeah.
was.
So it had moved from. It started across the street here at the Victory Square
Square.
Park.
Yeah.
And then after 3 or 4 years, it moved to the art gallery, right?
Yeah, 2 or 3 or something.
Two or something like that, yeah.
There was no stage in 1999. There was just a megaphone. There was a few signs and a few dozen people playing hacky sack.
2 dealers.
And, I don't
People,
think there's
yeah.
any dealers there really. I mean, there was people that had weed, and there wasn't anybody overtly selling anything. That's for sure.
When was the guy with the sign first? There was one guy who was the first guy to hold up a sign.
That was like
I don't know. It was 2005 when David and myself and my son set up a table and put jars on the table and had an instant line up there. And my son and I sat at the table and helped people out. And David was on the megaphone pointed right at the police on the corner talking about hug power. And anybody tries to interfere with my friends here, this is what we're going to do. We want everybody to hug on as best they can, but don't touch the cops. And make sure the rest of you just start yelling at the cops that there's no need for them, there's no violence happening here, there's no victim anywhere, and that anybody that's got a camera, and we have to make sure there's cameras,
Yeah, it was like back in the day, bring a video
So that was the
camera.
formula to hug power, and we preached that as loud as we could right at the cops every one of those rallies, and ended up going home at the end of the day with no interference.
Yeah.
Year after
Hug
year
power
after
works.
year until 2015.
We've used it before to have people unarrested. Although I have to say
yeah,
that
at the one global marijuana march
Yeah,
there, that's
GMM.
right. We did unarrest that one fellow.
it was Marijuana Steve.
And he made
Oh,
a deal
yeah.
that he would turn himself in like sometime later on in the evening if he was allowed to continue on with the march or something like that.
Yeah.
Still.
But
But
it
that's
didn't
all-
work so well at Cannabis Day when you got arrested.
They
though.
planned for that.
Yeah, they didn't like that.
You
No,
could see that
knew.
they had really planned for what they were going to do about that. I guess we shouldn't have been giving them all the details over those years.
It's true though.
They're like, yeah, we know the routine.
All right, so
But
we know
we-
what they're going to do. So here's what we can do. We can go in there and grab the guy, and then when they hug onto him, we can bring in another 15 cops and surround the first 15 cops.
Yeah.
And we can
Well,
hold
what
back
we
the
need to
rest of the
do,
crowd.
see, they tipped us off, and we know their method next time because they actually came and stood really close to us and like put their chest. Remember, they stood right over top of where we were sitting and stuff. And we're like, what are these guys doing? Like, what are they up to? At that point is when we get everybody to start hugging.
Same when
And,
the booths went up, and we got a few booths going up. Nobody was selling weed, and there was cops at every booth just standing there. You know, they tried to intimidate us as best they could, and they tried to beat us up as best they could.
Yes.
But you know, all charges were dropped. You know,
So such a waste, eh?
Yeah.
Like, Jesus.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous.
yeah, huge amount of police resources used.
But that's not going to
on,
happen again. We're going to keep doing it where we're
Yeah.
doing it, and
Well,
the
they've
cops don't interfere.
apologized, And last
did.
Cannabis Day, they came to Thornton Park there. They sought me out. They said, "Hey, you don't have to worry about this again. We're not."
Neil's
gonna do
like,
that
hey,
that." Like, what do you guys want? You know?
fuck
no
you seeking
kidding.
me
No,
out
they
now?
sent the friendly ones back again. That was a whole different crew in 2015 from the cops we'd seen year after year before.
Yeah,
that.
yeah, those guys are total dicks.
Yeah, they were some whole bunch of hardcore cops, and they didn't want to talk to us. They weren't smiling. They were most of them with sunglasses and their arms folded across their chests. It was a real intimidating scene. I'll never forget it.
No kidding.
So,
Well, they can
hopefully
be
it never
brutal when they
happens
want to. But
Hey,
that
you know,
case
I
is
did
all
hear
done,
a
right?
rumor. I heard a rumor that the RCMP are thinking about interrupting 420 this year in Vancouver.
No, yeah, right. Who did?
So come on, boys.
Where
let's
did
bring
that rumor
on
come
because
from?
We could use some more good video.
No.
You know, that'll last us for years.
That's not going to happen.
No, I know it's not going to happen.
No, because we talk to the cops and they come down and see the thing
Well, that's the
before us.
VPD. That's the VPD.
You're saying the RCMP.
The RCMP. There's some.
Well, that's
Why would
different.
the RCMP? That's not their jurisdiction.
I know. Well, they have
It's all
jurisdiction
their
in
jurisdiction.
Vancouver.
Who
They
told
do.
you that? Or like you don't have to tell me the name, but who was it? It's not a person of authority.
It's a person in this room that was conveying a message from the boys.
Oh,
So
yeah.
for what it's
well,
worth.
It's those cops. The RCMP's got to stay away. They haven't been in our meetings, so
They don't even know. They're not invited.
yeah, they're not invited. You're not invited to our.
If they're
our
coming, they
shindig.
better send an email ahead of time and get some.
Get on
Get
that
a permit.
RSVP.
Yeah.
See if we want to give them a permit or not.
And I see that Jody was watching out there. Jody's in the chat, actually.
Hi, Jody.
Yeah.
Love you, Jody.
And we don't have this up on the Pot TV homepage right now. Usually the show is always on pot.tv. We went live straight to Facebook because we were a little late and I ran into an emergency situation. So I believe that it is just about. It's Neil's working on it. So that's
Emergency
good.
sitch.
Tell your friends if they're looking for it on Pot TV. It'll be there soon.
They'll
But-
get
or
it.
just
Don't
come
fret.
and check out
They'll be
Facebook.
uploading these things. down the
Facebook
road
Live
a
too.
ways.
Yes, so a lot of 420 stuff coming up. We have one more show left before 420. Next week on the show, I'm hoping to have Chris Goodwin. I think I saw Aaron Goodwin in the chat as well
Hey,
earlier
you know,
today.
we
so
could use more
shout out to
sponsors, by the
Aaron,
way. We should
amazing
not.
activist from
we should make
Toronto.
sure we ask about that. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
That's okay. What? Sorry, Neil, interrupt again?
Well, that we could use some more sponsors still. We still have a few open spots for the 420 giveaway. So if you want to have your name shouted out from the stage and be part of our social media and all that kind of stuff, then please contact myself or someone else to get a hold of me.
Yeah, if you have big bags of pot that you want to give to
That's
us to
right.
roll up,
2 or 3 pounds
get in touch
of
with
something
us.
nice because we like to represent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we'll shout your whatever name you want us to. We can shout out from stage. We'll give you official sponsorship status, all of that good stuff. So please.
Thanks.
Yes, Joey Jojo Shabadoo if you choose. Or
And
whatever.
for the Cannabis Substitution Project, if you want to help out, that'd be awesome because going to 2 days a week has put more strain on our suppliers. So.
It's true, and we usually have about 6 or 7 pounds. I think that we throw out to the audience. Do we not?
More than that.
10.
More 10. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
closer to 10 pound for 420 the last couple of years. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, there you go. So
We're
that's
not there
bad.
yet. We need some more sponsors to get there yet.
Yeah,
But-
and it's quite a glorious
speaking
thing.
of sponsors, Weeds Glass and Gifts has been one of
Big
our sponsors
sponsor.
for years and years, and I want to thank them a lot. And the Medicinal Cannabis Dispensary,
Yep.
always every year after year after year. The last few years, it's been Health Lifestyle, and they're back again this year helping us out.
Oh, great.
They don't
Nice.
actually have a storefront right now. They're working on that. The city's been really brutal with shutting them down and
Ugh.
forcing landlords to shut them down and stuff.
Yeah.
So to all those customers a health lifestyle out there, Lisa's thinking about you. She's going to help you soon. They're working on it. Should be any time now that they have another storefront. We'll announce that as soon as that happens. And Cannabis Culture, of course, with dispensaries now, is also a sponsor, but they're always a sponsor in every way, shape, and form of what we do at the 420 for sure. So we're here using their space for the rolling, and they provide the papers, and it doesn't happen without Cannabis Culture. In fact, I'd like to personally thank Cannabis Culture for the last 20 years of putting on this event and making it so amazing. It's very surreal for me to look out over the stage from the stage and see all that's going on and think back to how it all started for me anyway 20 years ago.
Well, we literally, Cannabis Culture activists actually invented 420 as a day. It was our people right here in the building that took it next door and started the very first 420 that we know about anywhere in the world.
And I think it's the most amazing event in the whole world. As far as a cannabis event with the farmers market and hundreds of vendors, and that just doesn't happen anywhere else. I don't think that the joint toss happens anywhere else like what we do. I don't think there's anybody rolling up
in Colorado. I don't think that's happening.
You're not even allowed to smoke outdoor at their 420 in Colorado. So I mean, no, here in Vancouver we have the premier #1 cannabis event in the whole world, bar none, by a country mile.
A lot of people
thrilled
show
to be
up.
a part of that. Yeah, and to watch it grow every year the way it has, just incredible. So yeah.
And it really is something to see at 420, at 420, when we do throw the joints out to the crowd, and everybody, David Mamal-Levine gets up on stage and gets the whole crowd to sit down, and then we have our crew go out in the audience and hand the joints out to everybody.
I guide the girls usually down the path.
Ms. Kush Queen and her crew.
Right after O Cannabis. I'm very proud of that as well. It's been 14 years of doing O Cannabis at these events. I'm not sure that happens at other places too much. I've heard some other places are playing my O Cannabis at their events.
Now?
So, that's cool to hear.
Well, and there are great 420 events that happen in many other cities.
There are,
yeah. Ottawa, Toronto, those
Niagara,
are the bigger ones, And so we're going to have, we'll definitely have some coverage for next week's show about those events as well. So it's not just all Vancouver-centric for you guys. We're going to bring some people on to talk about probably the Ottawa event. And if we can get Chris Goodwin to come on and talk about what's going on in Toronto, that would be fantastic. Toronto this year is moving from its location at Young Dundas Square to Nathan Phillips Square, which is at City Hall, where the big iconic City Hall building is in Toronto there. That's where they're actually bringing it this year because they were denied a permit
for that space.
So they're going to go there and do it that way. I guess they've kind of outgrown Young Dundas. It's a little cramped in there.
It's very cramped when they do it. They have to close, I think the streets are getting closed, and that's causing a hassle.
It pisses the cops off. And then
the city's like, you can't
City Hall sounds like a good place.
Toronto off.
City Hall sounds like a good place for them to be.
City Hall is a great place to do it. Yeah, and they really do. That's the thing that pisses the city off the most is when we block traffic. And at the art gallery here in Vancouver, we had that same problem. When we ended up taking over all
Finally
4 streets,
just gave it to us.
Yeah, they were like, no.
They're
no
like,
more
you can
of
have Howe Street this year.
Yeah, they did eventually give us one, but we just end up taking over the others too.
Like at 420, at 3 o'clock to 5:30, it'd be just jammed.
They were so hesitant to give us is it Granville, the one that runs by right there? What's
Georgia.
the one? Or sorry,
Georgia, Robson.
Georgia is what I'm thinking.
Oh, yeah,
of. Granville, Georgia.
They
didn't want to give us Georgia, and we take it over every year anyways at 420.
Well,
but they
so many people, they can't help it.
Yeah, they refuse to do it. And then what happens is they put up fences, and those fences just come down. Yeah. People just literally kick the fences over, so there's too many bodies in one place. So, well, best to the people in Toronto, and hope that one turns out to be a pretty cool protest if it's not officially
should be
sanctioned.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We like that non-official sanctioned stuff.
That's right. And as Neil was saying, if you do want to advertise with 420, we do have advertising spots left. If you're a sponsor or a vendor at 420 or just somebody from the cannabis community or any community that wants to have your logo seen by hundreds of people, thousands of people, hundreds of times, we have our big...
For years to come.
For years to... Yes. Well, we have our big digital video screen on stage. And this year at 420, we're having a second big digital video screen halfway through the event on the B lot. about 10 feet high. It'll be, hoisted up above the crowd so that the people that are in the B zone area will be able to see what's going on stage a little more closely as well. And those screens, as we have people in the audience filming that for the screens, every 5 or 10 minutes or so, up come the logos, cycle through all your logos, and then back to the show again. And that happens every 5 or 10 minutes.
So those logos will be in people's pictures on their personal phones and cameras,
forever.
Thousands of them spread all around the world.
Going down in history.
Exactly, yes. And because there are so many people there, last year we tried to sort of look at how many people were there and get some numbers. Dana came up with 100,000, he thinks.
I believe him.
Yeah, and it's probably pretty close. Could be 50 to 100,000 is what I usually tell people. It's very hard to gauge crowd size. It is. And you have to sort of look at a photo.
Probably the biggest one that I've seen.
Yeah, and why don't you should go grab a seat there, because you were gonna hit the bong or something, or a pipe or something, get you on the show. So we have volunteers, like we were saying before. Our volunteers make the event happen. So if you want to volunteer for 420, come down and help us. We have a lot of really amazing core volunteers that come every year, and one of them is Yo, and he comes a long way to do this.
All across Canada.
Yeah. So tell people.
Where do you live in
about,
Quebec?
Yeah.
I live in the Gaspé Peninsula on the eastern side of Quebec, which is la baie des Chaleurs en Gaspésie, où il y a plein de Gaspésiens, puis ça parle français. Sauf que, actually now I'm gonna just talk in English. I was just saying that we're speaking French over there, and that's a slang, but that's a little Gaspé Peninsula. That's a little original place in Quebec. But that's a beautiful spot, yeah.
Do you hitchhike here?
Yeah, hitchhike.
Hitchhiked across the country.
Well, 6 times hitchhike. It's been 2 times that I've took the bus, the Greyhound, and
nice.
It took me 3 days to get across. This time, last year, it took me 4 days, because in Winnipeg they arrested me because I was smelling weed. I was having some buds on me, and they were like, no, you're not getting on the bus. I slept in the airport.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, but this year I just walk in, looked at the guy, passed through the scan, and then no trouble, get back on the bus, and that was cool.
Is this your 5th or 6th year?
This is my 5th year.
Right.
Yeah.
Just for 420 here.
Just for 420 especially, and I'm rolling doobies.
Nice.
This time I just got off the bus, and it took me about 3/4 an hour to get from the Greyhound station to get it here, take a little something to eat, and get here, and I started to roll doobies.
So this shirt you're wearing, you wear that proudly, like back in Quebec?
In Quebec.
Every single day?
That one, the one that
you have 2 of them.
Yeah, I got 2 of them. I got the 2017. I got this one of the 2016. I lost the 2016. That one.
You had one that was signed by everybody at one time, I remember.
I got that one. Yeah. Well, the other one is pretty you've seen it the other day, and
it's probably
it's not as clean as this one.
It's not as clean as this one. But I got all the signature in the back.
Oh, that's the one. That is the one.
Yeah,
there you go. Very cool.
You got here Neil Magnuson somewhere, Jody and Marie, and you got
there's no Neil Magnuson.
German.
Right there.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is, right here.
That's funny.
Yeah. Cool.
Nice. Yeah. So, and we appreciate it, man. I mean, you coming so far, and you're one of the diehard activists that really make this happen.
Yeah, I'm the only one in Quebec who's doing that. I'm actually the only one on the eastern side of Canada that who's doing that. Like past Ontario, there's no one who's doing that, except me, who's going across Canada to help out for one of the biggest events in the world, the biggest.
In the future, there'll be a larger migration of people coming from across Canada, and you started it all.
Hopefully.
Well, and you know what? When I look at 420, I sometimes think, wow, this is so. There's like 100,000 people here. Is this the biggest weed event in the world?
Yes,
But
it is.
No, you know, I don't think it is.
Close.
And it's close. It's close. But I have to say, and Jody, I don't know if she's still in the chat, but she could
Toronto's
attest to this
pretty
as well.
close as well.
Seattle Hemp Fest is massive, and it's like literally an entire. If you think 420 is big,
I was blown away.
multiply
by it.
the size of 420 by about 4 or 5, and stretch it out all along
Stretched
the
out
water.
by like 4 kilometers.
Yeah,
And I
that
wonder what it
is-
means now to have that event there where they have legalized recreational weed. Like,
I went when it was legal, and it was still a great time. They had all the speakers.
how were the restrictions though on sales and things like that?
They always restrict it.
Yeah, there was probably like no selling of marijuana and stuff that I
But
seen.
open smoking, lots of it, right?
There's open smoking.
Yeah, open smoking everywhere.
But though, and I have to say that in the years up to legalization, I think Jody and I went there the year that it was legalized, and the cops were there handing out bags of
I remember
Doritos
that,
to
yeah.
people.
Yeah,
I think I
that's
still have
right.
my bag of Doritos. But at that time, we were still not allowed to smoke in the main areas. They want you to go down by the beach on the rocks and smoke. And if you're in the crowd and you're huffing a big bong or doing something, they'll actually get on the microphone and call you out from the stage. They have 5 stages, and they'll get out and they'll be like, "Everybody, go over to the." So, but at the 420 moment, at one of the stages, the Sealy stage, we always have a big, crazy 420 shindig. And Jody, every year that we were there, Jody was the speaker right at 420.
Yep, she was this
and
year.
Yeah,
Or last year.
Last
whenever
year,
that
yeah,
was.
they love Jody at Hempfest too. She's a huge star there. She's like the one of the main stars. But it's pretty cool. They always treat us really well, and it's quite a huge event. And I just think of the lineups that wait. They wait in line to get in there because they section it off on either side, and those lineups go on and on
Like
and on.
so long, yeah.
All day long. People wait hours in those lineups. They get you in pretty quick.
In your car?
Yeah, I waited in line
In
when
your
I
car, you
first
mean?
went in, and it was like not very long. Like,
No,
Car or on foot?
No, on foot.
like just a big like
Yeah.
stupid ass line.
No, you have to
but
finding
then they
parking
just-
is its own monster.
Oh, I wouldn't.
Yeah,
drive.
it's impossible to park down
I
there.
parked
but-
at my hotel, and I think that was it.
Yeah, walk down.
Yeah.
But it is massive, and it's pretty cool. And they have, they do a similar thing.
So ours is just the best event. It's not
And
the
the
big,
legal
not the
weed
biggest.
shops that were close to that place were like the stupidest busy shops ever.
Yeah.
And they all had like in the parking lot they had like a live band or a DJ spinning or something to try to draw people in.
Exactly.
Nice.
And they also, it's the same model that we use. They have activist speakers, some of the most well-known pot activists up there, and they have musicians.
Yep.
And so it's kind of half and half. And so this year, we're doing the musician thing again. We're going to have some amazing talent. Probably next week on the show, I'm going to bring Creed on, our music manager, to just discuss what's going on, if he's got time to get him down and talk about who will be there.
Nice.
It's, every year we do a mix of, or at least the last few years, we've done a mix of local Vancouver acts and then some bigger, well-known celebrities from the United States.
Raekwon last year.
It was Raekwon from Wu-Tang last year, and Sun Doobie from Funk Dubious. Now, I want to tell you so badly who's coming this year, but I can't. Not allowed yet, because it just we haven't announced it publicly, and we're not going to until probably the end of today or tomorrow. So I was hoping that would be ready to announce on the
Today,
show.
like what's that? Like fuck 2 hours?
I know, but I just can't yet. I'm so sorry, guys. But by next week on the show, we'll be able to tell you. It'll be coming out online. We'll launch our official music posters and everything. Cool. But I think that you guys are going to be pretty happy with who's coming. I think so.
One show
think
before
so.
420. 2 weeks from today, 420. Oh, my God.
I know. It's scary.
It is.
Usually by this time I'm a nervous wreck, but this year I'm feeling pretty good about it all, actually. Yeah, it does feel good. So on the show today, we're going to actually have another couple guests that should be arriving soon. They were to arrive any time now. And that, I'm not sure if they're both coming, but definitely Amanda Seibert from the Georgia Strait will be joining us on the program,
Nice.
hoping today here, and possibly Piper Courtenay as well, to talk about the Georgia Strait event that's happening here in the city of Vancouver. The Georgia Strait is, for those who don't know that aren't from Vancouver, it's probably our coolest newspaper. Like, it's probably the most honest newspaper.
Yep.
They cover a lot of alternative events. And
They let alternative advertising in.
Yeah. And they've been doing it for a hell of a long time. The Georgia Strait has been here, and they've been an activist newspaper in the past for a lot of different issues, paying attention to the Grasstown riots, and, we even have covers upstairs, I believe, on the wall from when they did some of that stuff. But, Charlie Smith is the editor there, and he's been a longtime advocate of cannabis legalization, and the whole crew is there. So the Georgia Strait is putting on their own Grassroots festival.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and so it's a big event, and they're going to have a bunch of speakers there. In fact, I'm going to bring up the website here so you guys can see it. Grassroots, Georgia Street. So we know, there's a bunch of people. In fact, David Malmo Levine will be one of the speakers there.
Nice.
Yeah, but they have people from all walks of life. Philippe Lucas from Tilray is going to be there. I think Hillary Black from Tweed is there, and other people from the non-LP side of things. So they've got quite a good range of people there. But also
another one of these interesting events where we have the other side and us meshing together. Eh?
Yes.
They will like the weed smoke so much.
Yeah, that's one of the things. We're not
actually. The farmers market is going to be trying to set up and be active all.
They probably should. Yeah, that'd be a good idea. I wouldn't mind.
What did you hear about that?
Oh, just that they should go there.
They're going to be there.
They are going to be there.
There'll be people setting up booths selling weed up top.
That's very cool. Yeah. For those who don't know, Neil, just tell them, those people actually got kind of kicked out of that square, right?
Yeah, there was a nasty media blitz of a bunch of lies about the farmers market that was there. There was 15 vendors on any given day that was setting up there. There was very little problems compared with like the alcohol districts and other things like that, but it became the big focus of the mainstream media with the CTV and others mucking around, sending young people in to try to buy and other things. And they really spun it horribly, even though that market was a wonderful thing. There was doing a lot of good work. There was a lot of people getting cannabis that needed it, that couldn't get access to it otherwise, and especially edibles. Mm-hmm. We were there with the Cannabis Substitution Project for the last couple of weeks before they shut it down. But then they shut it down. Actually, it's interesting that Amanda's going to be here because she's been sitting on a story about cannabis substitution and about our project and about the farmers market that was supposed to run before Christmas, then in between Christmas and New Year's, then shortly into the New Year, and then it didn't run at all. And my understanding is there was some issues with a perception of bad behavior on the part of some of the cannabis activists that were there in dealing with the police.
Oh.
And so that's why that story didn't run.
How do you know that?
Well, sources that I don't want to give names.
But unidentified sources.
There was
that's okay. Neil's got a source.
We like that.
A source he trusts.
There was a particular incident. I think somebody spat on a cop.
Oh.
Didn't look good. But I didn't see it. I wasn't there. But that's what I was told.
It's possible.
And, cops deserve to be spat on sometimes. But the optics are seldom very good.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, I think...
Yeah, you got to have the
backstory. No tact to it.
You really got to have the whole backstory there as well to show the context as to why that was the right thing to do. But in any case, as far as I understand, the Georgia State decided not to release that story due to some of that bad actions that they felt was happening there.
It could. I mean, that is speculation unless it comes straight from the GS though themselves.
That's right, and that's why I said it was interesting that Amanda's going to be here this afternoon.
Don't ask her on air about it, but
I won't ask her on air.
Now we've talked on air. That would be some ambush journalism.
Had that story come out in a positive way, Christmas time, that could have really shifted how the police and the city dealt with that farmers market there.
Yeah.
But
I got to give it to the Georgia State. They're putting together a pretty cool thing there.
Yeah.
Grassroots.
Cannabis Culture is going to be a sponsor. We actually have a Cannabis Culture chill zone.
What is that?
It's just a place you can go hang out, I guess. We thought that you were going to be able to vape in there.
Put beanbag chairs?
Beanbag chairs, things like that. But the problem is we're not actually going to be allowed to vape inside the chill zone, or not actually going to be allowed to even show cannabis at the event. So no jars of cannabis, of real cannabis to let people smell or anything like that.
You should bring jars of pictures of cannabis.
We should do that. We should put. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
No, we're gonna do that.
We'll do that.
That's a great idea.
Let's
we'll
make
put
that all
jars
happen.
and then when they come up and they're like, "Hey, you're not supposed to do that," we'll be like,
"It's just a picture of the It's just a picture of weed."
That's kind of humorous, but that's a UBC rule, not a Georgia State rule.
Right.
So, but here's their website. This is the Grassroots Expo, and there's Watermelon straight up front, and so she'll be
there.
Watermelon will be there, so that's always fun. Yeah, Watermelon, if you guys don't, of course everybody knew, but watches Pot TV knows Watermelon. She's had several Pot TV shows herself, usually about baking. Malmo will also be there. Yes, we did hear.
Pod TV ever?
Yeah. And Miranda just handed me a message here. Dun, 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 dun,
oh
dun,
shit,
dun,
that's
dun.
official looking. Look at that.
Look at that.
No one can even see it.
420 booths. Sold out. So that means we are actually completely
done.
sold out of 420
Sorry about
booths.
that.
Yeah, sorry. That's unfortunately, but really, I mean, if you don't have one by this time, you probably don't have your act together too much because it's getting pretty close.
Yeah, if you're not snoozing, or if you're snoozing, you're already losing. So
right,
it don't
exactly.
matter.
And it is. I mean, these things usually go pretty quick. I'm surprised they lasted this long. They only did because we added a whole nother zone of them.
Yeah. New
so
zone.
we actually have. That means 300 booths have been booked by people. 300 vendors will be there in the official.
And
then there's at least that much. At least that much that also sets up in the
plus
free
the
zones.
free zones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
plus the free
300
zone.
that we are gonna take care of, me and you.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's gonna be.
Yeah, Yo is great at helping people find the free spots too, so that's gonna be. But I've got
over
this.
300, I'm sure.
Yeah. So here's the actual website. Let's keep cruising
Scroll
on
down.
it here. Who else is there? Is what I want to see. Well, here's some of the different events there: Cannabis and Cancer, The Last Resort. It's odd. I wonder if
First resort. Should say.
yeah, I wonder what's up with that.
Sorry.
I don't know who's doing that one, but it says the people on the Joanne Crowther, Steve McKee, Dr. Piper Howley, David Hutchinson, and Piper Courtenay, who may be on the show. Or Piper
And
Courtenay
Kirk
is moderator.
Tucson and John Conroy are there. Rob Laurie's going to be there.
Yeah, there's
Oh yeah.
we'll say cooking with cannabis, the evolution of infusion, patience with patients, a journey to better health, kids, caretakers, and cannabis, the story of Kyla's quest. There's a bunch of cool panels. Relief
pretty
in
good.
gender, women in weed, leaders in weed, a safe alternative. So there's a bunch. You can check out their website, and then as we scroll down, you can actually see the people.
Look, there's their faces.
There's their faces.
John
Hillary,
Conroy.
John,
Kirko.
Philippe. There's Kirk. So a lot of the hardcore activist crew in
Watermelon
there. and-
action.
Yeah, and some of our, the new side of the LP
Robert.
thing and all that. Rob, yeah, he's on there. But it looks pretty good. These guys have a lot lined up, so that's going to be fun.
And they all have great headshots, it looks like.
Great headshots. There's Jamie. And there's Amanda. So, yeah, and Clint, too. Lots of people on the list.
Oh, yeah.
And look at those great sponsors, including Cannabis Culture.
Nice.
Just ignore the LPs.
Yeah. Well, I'm starting to hate the LPs less and less these days because they're not working against us anymore. They're starting to work with us in certain ways. They're starting to basically take on what we do, and they're doing it themselves now. Yeah. So you're hearing the guys from Privateer come out and say that the laws are wrong. They have to be changed. People have to have their records expunged. So they're
probably sad because they can't hire any of these people to grow at their places. So they get all these guys.
Well, it needs to be easy for all of these people that are going to be at 420 vending to be able to continue to vend in the real world. It needs to be easy for them to do that.
Yeah.
All these
people.
people.
And the LPs don't like what the government's lining up either. In Ontario, where it's going to be all just government stores, that gives the government a complete monopoly on things.
And
that's
only
not good for
provincial.
anybody's business.
Unless the Supreme Court case gets one, and then that makes it.
And I think the RICO laws need to come into effect in Canada here
federal.
because it's just a big protection racket. I mean, anytime they're busting anybody in Ontario for stuff to do with weed, they're just protecting their own financial interests with what they're doing in selling weed.
Oh, yeah.
So this is corruption at its finest and needs to be exposed and stopped for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And some of this stuff, and like I said, you're going to see more LPs getting on the side of the hey guys. Definitely more LPs getting on the side of the activists, and you're going to hear them sounding exactly like everything we've been saying for the last 10 years because they have an interest in it. And and I think the people within those LPs, there's probably a lot of really good people there as well.
I think there
has to be.
And we can't. It's hard to paint everybody with a big, huge paintbrush because I know
they're good people until they want to try to put out of business those people that are in competition with them, and it's then using unfair, like what they're doing, right? I mean,
That's right.
Yeah,
the actions speak way louder than words. We'll see what they do, but I like what you're saying because, and that's the way that they can get that other part of the market that's going to boycott them is by lobbying for the right side of things, not the wrong side of things.
Well, and as long as they have a good product, no one's going to turn that good product away. If they're still producing the
I don't
shit
give a
that
shit if
they're
their product's
producing
good.
right
If they're
now.
using the money from the sale of that product to put my friends in jail or to penalize them,
No, I mean,
I'm not buying it.
not you, but just like a general public.
Well, they'll get the general public to buy it, and they're going to get some of them anyway, for sure.
Oh, for sure. But they might not get them on a repeat even, because even a normal customer might be like,
Not
it's
like
weird.
this
It might burn my lips.
The way it stands now, we're going to make sure there's still a very vibrant black market for people.
Yeah. So the guests that I talked about have now arrived. Amanda Seibert and Piper Courtenay. I'm assuming that I haven't met Piper before, but
You're hoping, eh?
Yeah.
You're like,
but so we'll get you guys to come and sit in the hot seat. We've already actually promoted the event and shown off the website and stuff, and we did a little on that side. So thank you to Yo and Neil for coming on as usual.
Yeah,
we'll
guys.
probably have Yo again back next week, and Neil's always around.
rolling.
He
till
never
420.
leaves. He basically has a hammock in the basement.
How you doing?
We will definitely do that. All right. So hey guys, how's it going? Microphones for you guys. Hopefully there's a couple there.
Hey guys, thanks
So
for having
we
us.
actually just showed off the website, and we saw some headshots there, and we noticed the pink hair.
Oh, thank you.
So Amanda, and we noticed that Piper is going to be a moderator for some of the things as well.
Yeah, we've
very
split
cool.
up the panels.
Awesome. So tell us about the event, guys, and how you guys put this thing together.
Well, first, thanks for supporting the event. Really, what we want to do is educate Vancouverites who aren't in this room. So all of us in here know a lot about cannabis. We know about the medical benefits. We know about how the law is changing and things like that. But there are a lot of people in Vancouver who just don't, they see the odd CBC news story or what have you, and they just sort of assume that, they assume that it's bad. And we want to share, the positive side about cannabis, that it has medicinal benefits and things like that.
I think our definition as far as grassroots goes is just creating that underlying foundation of education. Like we've seen over the last couple of years that the infrastructure of the cannabis community has really developed, like all the lawyers and the policymakers and everybody sort of farmers, even chefs learning about the science. But like it's time to turn around and go, okay, let's bring people in who still don't know the difference between THC and CBD or sativas and indicas.
And you notice a lot of the expos, like the Lift Expo that we had here, which was really big and pretty cool, they kind of focus on the business side of it. So it ends up being more like a trade show, I think, than an educational experience or something. But
I've never seen more suits in my life.
Yeah.
I know. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I mean,
that was sort of like we really wanted to bring something that was not going to be like, investor focused. That's something like I am legit going to bring my mom to this event tomorrow. Like if my grandparents were still around, I would make them come. Like that's sort of what we're kind of going for. So
that's very cool. And so now this is happening at Robson Square, UBC's little area that they have. And for people that have been to the art gallery in the past at our different events, when you walk down, there's that ice skating rink down there, and then you can walk right in. So it's a cool spot for it, I think.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, tell us about what it actually is going to look like there.
Well, the reason we decided to go with UBC is because we wanted to sort of give people the impression that this is an educational event. That's why it's happening in a place of education.
Nice.
Yeah. Do you want to speak a little bit to kind of how? I don't know. Sorry.
The layout. You guys I know that it's
it's
going to
a
be
great
fairly.
space.
I've been in there a couple times, and there's different rooms and stuff. But there's going to be we have a cannabis culture chill zone and some other stuff going on. Oh,
Yeah, no.
Johnny's calling.
The first day is all
I'll
going to
call
be in the
back.
theater. So it'll be a really cool venue. It's going to be a really beautiful venue. And then the next day we have it in another one of the educational rooms. But we're going to have a couple of rooms set up for booths and vendors. There's going to be some workshops and, a lot of really informative panels.
Very cool. So there's like an expo component to it as well, where
Absolutely,
people have
yeah.
booths and things like
Absolutely, yeah. I think you guys are going to be there. We're going to have some other local, like the Medicinal Cannabis Dispensary. Dana Larson's group is going to be there. A couple other local people. So,
Yeah.
Really excited for that,
And
too.
quite a speakers list. We showed off some of the lists there.
Yeah.
Maybe tell us about why, who you chose and why, or what the story is.
Sure. Do you want to pick
We
one?
could
maybe
go.
that you
Well, I
wanna-
mean, I can show you the list so it's a
Sure,
little easier
yeah.
on you.
Oh, let's see. Oh my God.
I mean,
rack my brain.
a lot of
Put my
a lot of the people that watch the show know these people as
Yeah.
well. Like
Okay.
they'll know Hillary,
Yeah.
John, and many of them have been on the show a few times. So,
awesome.
but yeah, so I mean, really, it looks like you have quite a range of people, but it's about that educational side, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Well, I mean, we're really happy to have like a lot of people like John Conroy, like Kirk Tusa, Jamie Shaw, Hillary Black, who opened Canada's first cannabis dispensary.
Yeah.
So we really like Sarah Blythe too, who has done some excellent harm reduction work in the downtown east side.
It was also, I think, really important for us to balance it out with patients who have been dealing with medical marijuana during their journey. Like Joanne Crowther is one of them. Stephen McGee, they'll be on the Cannabis and Cancer panel with me, and they have amazing stories and such wonderful insight from a patient's point of view, which is something that often gets kind of forgotten in these things.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, quite less watermelon.
Oh, yeah.
No,
And she's
I'm so
gonna be-
excited to
Yeah.
talk to her.
And she's talking about chefing it up too, right?
Yeah, she's talking about baking.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
so it'll be, I mean, no pun intended.
I think that's the name of one of her shows is Baked,
Yeah,
right?
Baked and Baking, yeah. But she'll be on a panel with Chris Sage as well, one of the top cannabis chefs right now. So
Very
it'll be really cool kind of getting her perspective as far as Vancouver goes and then his perspective in the States.
Very cool. Yeah, a lot of people we know and love here, and there's a lot of, I mean, just tons of great info. And David Malmo-Levine even, with those great, look at that photo of him.
It's a great photo.
The chatters see this with the sideburns. I don't know if they can see it here. Wait, the one that they got, oh no, that's the full one. But wait, let's go down and we'll get David's hilarious sideburns. They just have to make an appearance, I'm sorry. Oh, no, but he's been on the show usually he's here every week. But those sideburns are legendary. They almost become a beard. That's how big they are. But yeah, so there you go, guys. Lots of people from all walks of the cannabis community, and even a guy with a surfboard, it looks like. So very cool. And now you guys, I mean, Amanda, I know you've been doing a lot of coverage for the Georgia Strait of everything cannabis related. Uh-oh, we're going to put you guys back. Get rid of that. But yeah, I mean, maybe tell people about what you guys do at the Georgia Strait. And we already talked about what the Georgia Strait is and a little bit of the history there. You guys, have been an activist publication for a while, so we think you're probably the coolest newspaper in town.
Thanks. We're flattered.
That's so nice.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Well, really, the cannabis section kind of started up at the Strait about a year ago. And I mean, officially in the summertime, but I started focusing on the topic more. About a year ago, and then recently we hired Piper, who we poached from Van Magazine.
Yeah. Yesterday was my 1 month anniversary at the Strait.
Oh, cool.
I've been obsessed with that job ever since.
So she's going to be bringing sort of a little bit more of the lifestyle side of things. Like we've got some reviews coming.
Yeah.
I'll be like kind of focusing more on the news thing for a little bit because there's like so much shit happening every day. Like,
and your articles are fantastic.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, they're great. You cover it from an angle that others don't, which is much appreciated. The mainstream, usually they're just covering the surface of these things. So, on that side of it, there's lots of great things happening with cannabis in Canada. Legalization's coming, all these other things. But it's the nuances and the devil's in the details with these things, I think. And as we move forward with the all of the legislation that's coming down, we need people paying attention to those nuances. Yeah. Not just giving us, a great headline and a couple paragraphs.
Absolutely. And diversifying the content, like making sure that all the aspects are covered, which is so important because it's not just about the headline grabbers. It's about like the actual nitty-gritty
of investments or the mergers. There's a lot of other stuff going on too. So.
Exactly, and the stuff that's still happening on the street level.
Absolutely.
Like people still getting
people
arrested.
Like Neil, people like Sarah Blythe who are doing that work, and people that are still getting arrested and.
It's a weird situation they're lining up where they're legalizing, quote unquote, but still continuing the criminalization aspect.
Like Ontario, they're up to 330 dispensary busts or something.
Like my biggest gripe, I think, with the federal government is like it's great that you're legalizing, but can you tell us like why? Can you tell us like that this has been a bad policy and it's put so many people in prison? Like when are we going to hear that?
No, this is
everybody's
this one.
Never gonna.
This one's just for the kids. This one is if you ask Trudeau, it's all for the kids and to stop organized crime and the gangs.
I think it's so funny that they were screaming about save the children and they're saying we're the worst country as far as youth consumption goes, and you're sitting there going, oh, okay, well, criminalizing it still is clearly not working. So
right. Yeah, what of the consumption? What's the part that's the worst? Like, what is it? Where's the actual bad part? So people can consume it. That seems like on the surface, maybe it's bad, but maybe it's not. And what is it? Where's the actual harms of the consumption? Mm-hmm. That's what they never talk about.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to plug the event a little bit here, but we're going to do a panel on history, and I'm going to ask David Malmo-Levine about, why was cannabis made illegal in the first place? Because that's a question that not a lot of people know the answer to.
That's true.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a bunch of reasons that it was, but I think one of the main ones, and it's not very pretty, is that it was straight up racist. It was a way that these white politicians were trying to target minority communities, whether black or Mexican, and really, demonizing them. essentially, making them into, dehumanizing them and making them into monsters that need to be taken off the street. So
Yep.
while their own companies were, like David, the one who's going to be speaking, had a museum in this very spot in the
Right
studio. This used to be David's
I
museum.
think I saw a Vice video of him like talking about it.
Yeah, this was all, and down here where the studio is, he had cabinets, and they were filled with medicine bottles from around the turn of the century, of the last century, not the last one, but the one before. And yeah, they were all pharmaceutical companies. There was Eli Lilly and all these groups that were out there actually putting cannabis into the products because they knew the medical benefits of it. And another thing David had in the museum was a picture of Henry Ford. It's still on the wall in the hallway out there, swinging a sledgehammer at the side of a car that's completely built out of hempcrete and runs on hemp biofuel. And in that article, it was like
built in his garage.
hemp plastic or whatever it was. Yeah, it's hemp. The car is hemp plastic. It feels like, he said in that article, the hemp industry will replace the steel and gas industries within 50 years.
Oh, yeah.
And then within 2 years
And
of
then
that
it
article
became
coming out, it
illegal.
was all made
And it
illegal.
still
Yeah.
can.
What a coincidence.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
And it's true. It's kind of a weird thing like that. Like I worked on a hempcrete workshop where we built a hempcrete house out in Nelson. And even my instructor, when we were doing it, he was still, it was like a few years back, but he was still like, you still got to be careful about this. Like, people want to shut this stuff down. And I was just like, this guy a freak. But then when I kind of thought about it, I was like, well, yeah, I guess, hey, like, it's big business.
I think I saw a video recently of Jay Leno driving a car made out of hempcrete.
Yeah, there's a new one from overseas. I forget what
Yeah.
it is, but it's literally like the hemp sourced like within 100 kilometers of that factory, and they use it. Yeah.
There's that
It's
one
like
guy
a
in the
super
States building a
high-end-
plane. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
The one guy in the States, he's building like the full everything. Yeah, the whole plane is made out of it, and it runs on hemp biofuel.
That's so
So awesome.
See, that's what you need, Cannabis Airlines.
Oh.
Wouldn't that be great?
All these problems. Why doesn't
High,
Tesla,
more than one way.
Yeah,
High in
Tesla
the
should get
sky.
involved in this too.
There's all sorts of stuff in there.
We're gonna get high.
So,
Uh-oh.
yeah, so, and at the event, do you guys have any hemp stuff going on at the event? That's one thing I didn't see on the list there or anything like that. I don't
No,
know.
unfortunately we don't. But it is an event that we are trying to hopefully bring back next year with
Grow.
some more focused kind of panels, different lifestyle things and hemp and
How's the
whatever-
response been so far? I know you guys spend a lot of money on advertising and stuff. I saw you were spending like dropping $100,000 on it or something. No, isn't that what? Maybe I'm wrong. In the
We're seeing this information, Jer.
in the thing that they sent me about how they're selling it, in the little thing they were like, we're advertising the shit out of the event, and it was
through all through our own channels though. Like we haven't paid it's all straight.
All right. Well, I won't hold you guys to the. I won't show that email off or anything, but that's very cool. I mean, it looks like it's going to be fun, and it's doing this. I think in our community, there's a lot of feelings of outsiders coming in, doing this. Like the Lift Expo is cool and everything, but I think people feel like they haven't really been paying attention to our side of it at all. So there's this kind of weird split that comes where our community's kind of, a lot of us, they stand outside and they sell their weed and do their thing. And you go inside and you said, it's the suits in there. But I like the mix that you guys are bringing. And it's somebody who's, you guys have been doing pot journalism for a long time. Not even just, in the modern era. Exactly. What was it? The Grasstown riots you guys covered really amazingly back in the day and everything. Yeah. So, a lot of history with the Georgia Strait and activist journalism. It's cool. But yeah, pick up the Georgia Strait in town. You guys, it's just in the city of Vancouver, essentially, right? That you guys distribute the magazine to?
Yeah, it's just distributed kind of in Vancouver and then in pockets sort of in Metro Vancouver, yeah. But you can check everything out online, straight.com.
Exactly. Nice. And if you want to check out everything that's going on with the Grassroots Expo here, it's actually, the name of the website is craftcannabisweekend.com. And so I like the focus on craft cannabis as well.
Yeah, it's good.
Very cool. Yeah, guys, is there anything else you wanted to add about the event or anything? I mean, I don't know I think we talked about what's going on there. Anything to look out for? Any cool stuff that we haven't addressed?
We're just going to be ramping up our cannabis coverage. I mean, we've been really buried under the weight of this event for the last couple of weeks. So we're excited to do it, and then we're excited to kind of get down at brass tacks and start pumping up more content.
For people that do smoke at these events or use cannabis as medicine, is there like an outdoor place that they can go and smoke? Do you guys have that set up in any way?
Nobody is going to be telling people not to, this is a cannabis event, this is Vancouver, as far as I'm concerned, if people want to use cannabis, they should be using cannabis.
They can't
obviously
use it
not
inside
in
the
the
event.
building.
Head on outside.
Not in the building.
UBC may argue with you on that one.
No.
Yeah.
There's There's no building in Vancouver like that would,
This one.
No, well, this one. Yes, this
You can
one.
come to, and our Davie Street Lounge as well. You can come and smoke inside.
That's right.
We have landlords who are okay with the government showing up and giving them orders from bailiffs late at night. So our landlords are cool, and that's the way we're able to get away with this. But
I wish they were like that at
we
UBC.
We don't have that luxury.
No, UBC probably doesn't like that as much. And one thing that I did bring up on the show earlier, we're not even allowed to show cannabis. Like, we're not at our booth, our Cannabis Culture booth, we're not allowed to even have cannabis and show it off to people, unfortunately. So, yeah, that's a UBC rule
That's
again.
definitely not our rule, but you know what, like, just bring it. Just bring it. But just bring it.
I don't want to ruffle. I don't want to not be invited back next year or something, So, but what I was thinking though is we were actually thinking of bringing our jars and then putting pictures of cannabis inside of them, just as a kind of just as a little bit of a joke.
We have to. I mean, we have to respect the rules that UBC put out. I mean,
right.
it's one of those things that we have to find a middle ground where we can, because our underlying message is education, right?
For sure.
And not having the products is so fucking annoying, but
Yeah.
it's definitely not hindering the process of educating. So just find creative ways to do it.
Yeah,
and maybe just push the boundaries, because that's kind of what this community is there for.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm glad you guys said it. Now that you guys said it, I feel a little better.
My feeling is that, like, sure, people are going to have rules and things, but as we move forward and it becomes more and more accepted, those are going to start to fall away. And
exactly.
Maybe it's going to take a while, but yeah.
It's true. Well, there's still
we're
a lot of
definitely not
stigma.
here to, like, yeah. push
No, I know.
anyone down.
I know where you guys are coming from about it. And I mean, even when I was talking to the people at Georgia Straight about it, they're like, "Oh, it's not our rule. We're sorry." But yeah, and because of the whole stigma thing. Yeah,
really, we really are.
Well, it's one of those things that, as you said, as things move forward, the big, people at these universities and other places are going to be more cool with, and they're going to be more used to it themselves when they start seeing it, and when it's in their faces more often, and it's not causing bodies to pile up everywhere. I think the people in charge of all of these infrastructure, organizations and stuff, we're going to be more cool about it. You're starting to see it now, even with banks and everything else. Like, even just like 3 months ago, I was having my bank accounts canceled, and it was impossible to get cannabis culture banks or anything like that. And now BMO's now announced that they're cool with weed and all this stuff. And
Did they give you an account yet?
I have a BMO account.
Oh, there you go then.
They haven't that's one I haven't got canceled yet until I said it on the show. Maybe and somebody don't tip them off.
It's a Monday, you get a letter. You're like,
But yeah, they're not very friendly to weed people. So, and if you're a business who's trying to get involved in actually selling and having a bank account, good luck. It's impossible to get a bank account as a weed business. Nearly impossible unless you go to very choice few credit unions. At least here in Vancouver,
nice ones, yeah.
There's a couple that are very friendly to cannabis, or there's one that's very friendly.
So far.
But great work, guys.
Slow, steady change.
It will be. And I think there's even still a few dry counties across Canada somewhere that don't serve alcohol, right? That have rules against alcohol.
Yeah, there are. I hear that they might also be saying no to weed. We'll see how that goes.
Well, like Calgary's saying no public consumption.
Of course, Calgary.
You're just like,
can you hear my eyes rolling?
No edibles.
Yeah. And, the one that I saw that was really silly was Saskatchewan has a rule that they're putting in place that says when you leave the dispensary, you're not allowed to call it a dispensary, but when you leave the weed store, you have to drive straight home.
Oh, yeah.
You're not allowed to pick up your kids. You're not allowed to stop for gas or anything else. Or the weed, they'll still criminalize the pot on that
But you're
level.
still allowed to have some for personal consumption up to it.
How are they going to even enforce that? Are they just going to have
you just stop at the grocery store, sir?
I don't think you guys ride home there. They're following everyone.
No.
You're like, what the fuck?
It'll be
Yeah.
a
Well,
new
it is.
Uber.
But what you said, Piper, is exactly
way
right.
more cop cars in Saskatoon.
They're not going to be able to enforce half of the new rules that they put in. Like, if they're, and even the thing about only
so they can
growing
have a big
4
budget.
plants.
Yeah, they want to have more enforcement, so they're going to have more inspectors and all this bullshit.
And it just means that whatever they have at their disposal, they will use on some people, usually people that have darker color skin or that they don't like for whatever reason, or maybe younger people, things like this, right? So it is really, too much police discretion gets abused.
All the cops keep their jobs in legalization.
Right. Well, and that's been the way, I
the
think.
The budget doesn't get any smaller.
Right.
They're like,
But the
no
great
more
thing
that
is
budget.
That so will we. We'll still be able to keep our jobs after legalization. That's what it helps with. And
It
the people
does.
that have been criminalized in the past will now find some sort of redemption in it.
I have a feeling.
About drug testing in the workplace, which is not
Well, there's going to be a lot of kinks to iron out, that's for sure.
Well,
But-
whatever. If they're not checking for weed, then fine.
Yeah. Right.
No.
there's going to be this weird zone. Like right now, even with cannabis culture, we're going to be a prime example of it as we try to move forward to become legalized in every way. And we actually are, you know, trying to work with the people who do that kind of stuff. It's going to be tough for us because right now, everything we do is illegal. Well, everything we do is illegal, but essentially some of it will become legal, some of it won't. Like this whole packaging thing where they want your weed inside a package that you can't smell and it's all, you know, white and you can't look through it. Yeah, it's like, have you ever gone to a grocery store and bought an apple in a bag? If you go and buy an apple in a bag,
in here, boys.
It's a produce product. You have to look at it and smell it. You can't do that. You get home and open your bag and what's my apple look like? Like, no, that's not going to work for people. So
it goes against your values.
It does. Neil said it goes against my values. You don't have a microphone. But,
well, if you could return it, but you probably can't. I don't think you can return a bottle of booze if you open it.
It does. Our values and what we're going to do as cannabis culture, and this is our commitment to, like, we don't actually care. The business side is just a side effect of our activism. This whole thing is about activism for us. And so we're going to use all the power that we have in every way to try and leverage those rules to change. You know, we're not going to follow, we're just simply not going to follow them if they don't work. And if they have to come and arrest us and everything else, then we're going to do that. We'll go that method too. I mean, we're going to stick to the method we've been using. Yeah. But anyways, we're digressing. This grassroots thing is happening Saturday, Sunday.
Tomorrow.
Sunday. And what is the, I haven't actually seen the time that it opens.
10
like,
a.m.?
10 a.m. It's 10 to 6 on Saturday.
10 to 6 and then 10 to 5
10 to 5 on Sunday.
Very cool. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on
Thanks
the show.
so much
really
for having
appreciate
us.
it. And for all the amazing work you guys are doing. We really, really appreciate and we need you guys big time.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. Thanks for the work you guys are doing too.
Awesome. Amanda Seibert and Piper Courtenay from the Georgia Strait. Yeah, and you can see them this weekend at the Grassroots Expo for the Cannabis Curious. And I can't, what does it say above? Oh, presented by the Georgia Strait. And that's at craftcannabisweekend.com. So check it out. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. And you guys are welcome to hang out and smoke pot, do whatever you feel like. It's totally up to you guys. Yeah. And
the work part's over.
Yeah, the work, exactly. So we do have one more guest to bring on the show today, and then I got to wrap this thing up because I have a trip to the island this weekend. I won't be at the Grassroots Festival, unfortunately, because one of my friends that I grew up with was hit by a car and passed away. So I have to go and check out his celebration of life. Yeah, it's pretty sad. But Dallas Hully, man, I love you, brother. It's too bad. But Spicoli.
Buddy, I don't I'm only going to take 2 minutes. It's shorter for everyone.
So you guys know Spicoli. He's been on the show before. He's back again. Hilarious. Neil, can you? He just bumped the camera a little bit. Neil, can you? Do you think it's all good, man? Neil. Yeah, thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. Can you just move that camera back ever so slightly? Neil's got it. There we go. Oh no, it's always causing a ruckus around here. Here, I'll move this.
The weed can is going to start a fucking ruckus. I'm getting the weed can going on before 20, man.
Oh, and he's got the weed cannon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, have a seat, man. He's eating pizza. You're not on cam yet. You got to sit.
I did bring enough pizza because it's our time, Mr. Ham.
Is it infused pizza?
No, it's not infused.
It's not infused.
But my good friends at Emilio Finati in Langley, and they got one in White Rock. They make this thin crust love pizza, and I was coming and wanted to see it, so I thought I should grab some pies because we're always high. And then we got the munchies, and if you don't make a poo, then you're gonna die. So you gotta make poos, so you better eat and get high and do it.
Yeah, that's one of those things at 420. There's no food trucks allowed.
Yeah.
Which is, buddy, and that's kind of why I want to talk to you too, because I tried so hard.
With the city.
I lost my phone. I lost my phone because I went into the city with my phone in my pocket and filmed because I'm like, hey, we need some food out this fucking thing because people need to eat. Because if the only thing that there is there to eat is pot stuff, that's fucking how horrible is that, man? Because, well, it's not horrible if you're me, because I eat sometimes 600, 700 milligrams of THC a day because I'm a little bit of a maniac. And I have...
You are a maniac.
I have a little bit... Oh, buddy, I'm a maniac, but I got these medical injuries, and I got shit, and so that's why I got a good big license. But hey, here for our friends at home is what I really wanted to say, too. For the love of fuck and all things holy, take this from Spicoli. Do not ship anything Greyhound, because Spicoli made a mistake and they profiled him. And anyway, so I'm telling you right now.
What'd they do? What happened?
Tell us the story.
Hey, I'll tell you the story because it doesn't matter anymore. Spicoli, being the dumb see you next Tuesday that he was, he fucking stopped at the Greyhound, and I don't know if it's the Afro or the Bob Marley with the smoke on the joint, or if it was the Afro or it could have been Set Your Pussy Free toque that I wear, or the shirt that I got from downstairs, which is the fucking best fucking story.
Yeah, you buy that at Cannabis Culture.
Cannabis Culture story. Hey, I'm doing shameless promos for the pizza place. Go get your fucking sweet ass big ass dab mats, or check out this new big
307 West Hastings and 1674 Davie Street.
Yeah, the best, awesomest new pot shirt I got, and check this one. You can get it online if you're fucking smart. We got the guy with the fucking suitcase of.
I love it.
Oh, buddy.
Good huff shirt.
Oh, I love it. Anyways. So, I tried to get with the city, and they sent me to fucking the engineering. And hey, I'm going back to, I don't know, I'm telling all kinds of stories.
But wait, we got the part about you putting the weed on the bus, or whatever. Was it weed?
There, yeah.
Oh, so Greyhound, I drop off two. Hey, there were U-Haul boxes, so maybe don't use a U-Haul box, because that... But there's U-Haul boxes, for fuck's sakes. And so anyways, and being
what was in them?
A bunch of edibles.
What? And then so they busted you down for edibles?
Did it smell?
Here's the story.
Dangerous edible now these days.
Oh yeah, I know. Very dangerous.
You're the worst. if you fucking eat pot, you're a demon. Okay, so. So the moral of the story is this. I stop. They take my $124, and the one package was over 50 pounds. Because that's why when I stopped at the one fucking Canada Post, because I would always ship Canada Post. If you're smart, ship Canada Post. The one parcel was 53 pounds, and I was kind of a little lazy, and I didn't re-rob it. But they told me Greyhound would take packages up to 75 pounds. Dropped it off, dropped the second box off at the same time. They took my $120 whatever. Fucking 2 hours later, RCMP called me.
Oh.
And it's constable, and I don't know what it's constable, whatever her name was, but she was a little bit East Indian. And she's told me that I had 4 days she said, you know what you did was wrong, and I said, well, what are you talking about? She said, well, do you have a license? I said, yes, I have a medical license. And she said, do you have a license to ship? And I said, well, I'm pretty fucking sure I do. I don't know. And then she said, does the person on the other end have a license? And I'm like, well, yes, they do. Because I was just trying to help my friend that has some ailments just like myself and needs her medicine. And she likes some of the products that I provide. So I was just doing her a favor and shipping them. And then... what ended up happening is, so 2 hours later they call and say, you shouldn't have did that. If you can come with your license, we can give you your stuff back. Well, I thought it was a trap because they said it was 4 days I had to go do this. So I called my lawyer, of course, because I'm not, I am a dumb CUNT, but I'm not that dumb of a CUNT. So I called him, and he didn't get back to me on Friday, and Friday they said that if I showed up with my paperwork, they'd release me my edibles back. Monday came, because these lawyers, he wasn't around Saturday and Sunday, so I'm not that thrilled with my lawyer, but I was pretty thrilled with him, though, because he did a good job. So
needless to say, you're not in jail.
Exactly, so he did a good job, but they ended up taking my 600 edibles, told me they'll destroy them, and I couldn't get them back, or else, so you got to pick your battles.
It's true.
So
yeah, it's better than
yeah.
Rather they seize your edibles than you.
Exactly. So, anyways, the moral of the story is, don't ship on the Greyhound bus because it is
They're not the only ones, though. Shipping through some places like FedEx and others, we've had, people will poke through or something, and they can smell your weed going through there. So I've known people that got popped for that.
Yeah, well,
They'll steal straight up from you.
Sometime the mail last year in Newfoundland, not last year, 2-3 years ago in Newfoundland, someone shipped a package by the post and
Yeah.
mail, and the package.
Oh, they'll steal them. The drivers themselves will do this, and they'll they can tell what's in it. It's light. It's a big box, but it's light. They're like, put a little needle through, squish it a bit, see if it smells like cannabis, and then because they know you're not going to complain about it if it doesn't show up. But if that ever happened to me, I'd complain about it anyways. Give me my weed.
Or whatever. Give me my package. My package is missing. Don't tell them what's in it.
Yeah, exactly. But so Spicoli, you're going to be at 420 this year.
Yeah,
You got a booth.
I got the 2 booths. I'm going to have the smokable love, organic and shatter blasting love booth where you can maybe buy your love plant or get whatever you need to smoke. But then I'm going to have the edible. I defy all laws, and we were going to have an edible booth there. And hey, I'm sad and sorry because Spicoli really tried with it, because I did. I went to the fucking city hall, and I was.
Well, the edibles, you can sell all that shit. You just can't bring it in a big open flame and have like a pizza oven, whatever.
Well, there's not gonna be a pizza oven, but buddy, I'm bringing the weed cannon's coming.
The weed cannon.
And the weed cannon.
What is the weed cannon?
Well, I got this guy. I forget the glass blower guy I got going on downstairs because Chris from downstairs is hooking me up. But I'm commissioning the glass blower guy, and hey, if this guy doesn't do it, and if there's a glass blower out there that will do it for me, I got the electric leaf blower. I need somebody to make me the glass piece so I can blow off 10 or 20 or 30 pounds of weed out into the atmosphere and into the people's lives. So help Spicoli and help the love human be a love human. And so if the glass guy doesn't get back to me, hey, lovebuds420.com.
Yeah, I was gonna say, tell them about the company.
Oh yeah, because I got the edible thing going on.
Hold it up even closer.
Oh, even closer?
Yeah.
Not
that close.
Not that close. But hey, that's the Go Lay Downy Brownie. The Go Lay Downy Brownie, 200 milligrams of sheer pleasure. It is filled with distillate and sweet dreams, is what it is. And here, you get one of those, buddy. We also got for Jeremiah.
You didn't make that in your bathtub, did you?
No, buddy. We got a commercial. We got a commercial kitchen, and hey, I know that baked edible place in Victoria. They'll even take you for a tour through their thing. Yeah. I'm gonna get some website lady to come through our kitchen as well. Because
I've been on that tour, by the way, and that's a cool little thing they got going on in Victoria.
And I'm not stealing from them. But my kitchen is just as fucking clean as theirs. I still don't have food safe. I'll tell you that right now. I don't have food safe, but I don't need it because I'm not cooking this shit. I'm the one that makes the medicine. I don't fucking bake the goods. So hey, for Jeremiah, you get some cuckoo caramels, 150 milligrams.
Woo. Cuckoo caramels. Yeah, I don't eat the baked stuff. I like the candies. I'll eat these, though.
Hey, the sweet lady. Who's the sweet lady?
Anne.
And give Anne the caramels. I'm sorry for being
No. I'll keep the caramels. Give her that.
No,
what is that?
Anne likes the caramels. You need the peanut butter cups.
Oh,
maybe.
Either of those. You want. Yeah.
We got pizza for everybody.
Sure, you can have them both.
Love human.
Thank you.
Yes.
Love you, Anne.
Yeah, hell yeah. Well,
hey,
good
buddy,
brother, and you'll have these
you.
things for sale down there.
We're gonna have those. I got about 10 products in there on my website and online, and they're available at Herbal Dispatch. And I even actually, I can't tell you honestly, but if you, I can't tell you honestly because
you don't want to know.
But
you don't have to tell us honestly.
Ron's carrying it downstairs. A few things.
Oh.
So anyway,
don't say that too loud. But
I know
that's by surprise.
Yeah. So, what? Yeah, you're headless now. But I was gonna ask you one more question. Now I forgot what it was. What the fuck was it?
420.
Oh Lord. Oh, beef jerky. You got. This guy does amazing beef jerky.
We got reef jerky.
That shit is. Yeah. Show him that.
Hey, we got the reef. Yeah, we're the original gangsters of the reef jerky.
Yeah.
The reef fucking jerky. Hey, the new flavors are coming out after 420 because I'm buying a smokehouse. But so the other store, the more. I told you. I'll let a cat out of the bag. there's gonna be reeferoni at the
Reeferoni.
fucking 420 as well. So
Nice.
you're gonna get reef jerky or reeferoni. Look for the Love Buds tent. Look for the big balloons. Look for Jeremiah. Look for the weed cannon. Look for the guy with the fucking shit-eating grin, because that's what it's gonna be. It's a shit-eating fucking grin. Till the police drag him away, but it'll still be shit-eating. Fuck those pigs. All
There you
right,
go.
hey, I love you guys.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it. And I gotta say, last time I actually was hesitant to eat any of the stuff on the show and the beef jerky, but I tried the beef jerky right after the show, and then I ate like almost the whole bag of it. It's really good. It tastes good, and it doesn't
good
taste.
flavor.
A lot of infused stuff. Even some infused candies I get, they just kind of taste like shit.
Well,
Like
buddy-
even, but these ones taste good.
What we do though too is we only use for all the edibles except for the jerky. I have to use keef, but hey, I've already broken it down and it's finely graded keef, so it's the purest of the pure when I'm making the jerky, and so it's made from just the love keef from the Love Buzz fucking Love
Keef's
Buds.
good, man.
And so then that's the only thing we're using the keef for, because all the other ones we're fucking putting like between 90 to 94% pure distillate into the product,
Right.
so that we
Doesn't
know
have a
that we
taste.
know the dosage. There's
Yeah.
no fucking taste and no waste, and you know you're fucking high.
Yeah.
That's what Love Buds is all about.
There you go.
Okay, buddy. Hey, I love you more
Buds.
than life itself.
Love you too. Oh, there. Look at that. Look at the peanut butter cookie or peanut butter. Better than Reese's.
Big time better.
Yeah. Smells good. All right, brother.
All right,
Thanks
man.
for coming
Love
on,
you more than life
man.
itself.
Love you too.
We'll be seeing you at the Grassroots Expo. My friend Mary Jean. Oh, she brought this
Yeah.
piece of chocolate because she's got the licorice parlor and hula hoop store.
Yeah.
Watermelon. Hey, because I got to give her a little love plug.
Oh, yeah.
So, hey, if you're around the Commercial Drive area or Granville Island, go see my Love Bud fucking weed friend Watermelon. Because, hey, she's the fucking pot pin-up girl. She's got the chocolate licorice store and hula
Yeah.
hoops.
She's speaking. She's at Grassroots this weekend.
And she's there at the Grassroots telling you how to infuse your shit, and she's dead sexy. She's got a boyfriend,
yeah.
though. Hey, and it's not me, but fuck, hey, be nice to my
You
sweet
wish.
love lady. I know I wish. Fuck, who doesn't wish?
Didn't she go out with Zach Galifianakis?
She fucking did, man. She
Yeah, that's-
she went out with she went
Yeah.
out with the Fanakis.
Yeah. He's
She's my
hilarious.
love buddy. But hey, go
Yeah.
see her at the Grassroots thing. Stop by her licorice parlors on Commercial Drive or the Granville Island. Get your kids some licorice.
Get her-
It's healthy
get
and
your
beneficial and herbal and good for you. Do some hula hooping.
Yep.
Good for you.
But she sent this chocolate bar over because she thought when we were getting high, we should probably eat some chocolate. So
And
All right.
Reeferoni, man. Looking forward to that. It's going to be fun.
And there's a couple other surprises.
Oh, there you
But buddy, you'll see.
Spicoli's got a
You gotta come to
All up
420.
his sleeve. All right, brother. Thanks, man.
Love you,
Always,
buddy.
I
Thank
love
you.
having you on the show, man. It's always hilarious. You actually need a pod TV show. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you need a pod TV show. The Spicoli Hour.
Well, maybe get there 'cause I'm needing some hobbies, man.
All right. Well, it's almost 6 o'clock. We got like 10 minutes, Mr. Cookie. I'm gonna hit this bong here. And what's in the bong?
Oh, that's Sweet Skunk from the Breeder Steve cut.
Oh yeah, Breeder Steve Cup. So wait, there's a couple other cannabis. There's this Canna Cup or
Canna Cup in Toronto
Canna Cup
right
in
now,
Toronto
this weekend.
It's this weekend. Fuck, you know what? I was gonna have those guys on the show, and I totally gapped and forgot to invite them again to this episode. Damn, I'm sorry. Canna Cup in Ontario.
Yeah.
I
think
guess
it's at Planet Paradise, but I don't actually know. It might be like one of those hidden location type things.
yes.
And it looked like a lot of people were entered, or they had a lot of like advertising or something. I just seen like a lot of logos on the website. You can
Yeah.
look at the website.
Yeah, let's look at their
Canna Cup.
website real quick because I don't actually know a heck of a lot about it.
And then from the Instagram,
I just-
Instagram, as you guys know.
Yeah, Insta-G. I wanted those guys on the show, but I'm sorry, guys.
I seen like
fucked up.
posts of people posting stuff like some entries from that or whatever.
Yeah, their Instagram actually looks pretty cool. Like
It
they
does,
had a bunch
yeah.
of stuff on there.
That's where I seen all the. Maybe it's not.
It's funny. I typed in Canna Cup Toronto, and up comes the Karma Cup as the first thing.
Of course.
I'm good for now, man. But thank you. I appreciate it. The Karma Cup is pretty huge. So I don't know. What is their website? Is it just cannacup.ca or something?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to Instagram it, look, and then see what the hell.
Yeah, I'd love to be able to send people to check it out. Because if you're in Toronto, you guys should go check this Canna Cup out and tell us what's going on there.
Canna
Because
Cup Canada.
you're not going, Cookie. You always go.
I know, and I'm here.
I know.
It's called thecannacup.com.
Thecannacup.com. Okay, we're gonna show it off.
It's followed by MJ Creams. Mike Rita, fucking all these popular peeps.
There you go. Here it is. Let's show it off.
It says location will be announced tomorrow.
Oh, okay. So it starts tomorrow, not today, then.
Posted at 8 a.m. Yeah. Okay. It's going to be by the airport, it says. Hint.
Canna Cup. Here's their website.
Oh, look at that. A CN Tower.
The CN Tower, April 7th and 8th. That's kind of a slick-looking site. Yeah, Canada's premier.
These people, you know, these
oh, yeah.
Advertisers.
Yeah,
whatever.
there's lots of sponsors involved
Beard
and
Bros,
stuff. Yeah, some musicians and things. So go check it out, Canna Cup. If you're in Toronto, I don't know, it doesn't say how much it is or anything, but you know, I'd love to. It's too bad we didn't try to get ourselves a judge's kit or something. And
yeah, it would have been nice to try it out.
There's so many of these things now; it's hard to keep track of them all.
Oh, there's gonna be so many soon.
I just saw this one a couple weeks ago, and I was like, "Where the hell did this one come from?"
Yeah, me too. I only seen it a couple weeks ago, but everyone's been like, "Oh, we knew about it."
Yeah, I did hear about it a little bit. Oh, the other thing I was going to do is Johnny Boy, who's not here today as our
he keeps
viewers.
Calling, so
he did call. He did call. So let's.
He told me to say 1 minute warning before the 420, but
yes,
I didn't see that message till now. So 1 minute warning.
We want to call Johnny because poor Johnny. I did it on FaceTime. Well, we could maybe hold the camera up. No, you can't. I'm going to turn the video off.
Just on the thing.
Why did I call him FaceTime style? Sorry. There he is. Oh, and he's calling back in FaceTime. Hi, Johnny boy.
Johnny.
Look, we can put the Johnny cam on here.
Yeah.
Here, hold on, Johnny cam. It's tall. Your cam's tall, not wide, Johnny. You should turn it landscape.
Landscape.
Turn your camera sideways.
Phone sideways.
Turn your phone sideways. Yeah, there you go. Now we can actually see properly. But now it didn't actually work. No, it didn't. No, turn it back, Johnny. It didn't work.
You're like sideways.
It didn't work. I'm gonna put mine upside
Johnny's
down. That's
like
the only way to do it. There. Now we can get a Johnny cam going. I really suck at this right now. Here we go. All right, using the bud cam for a Johnny cam. Hi, Johnny. How are you? Here, wait. Let me give you a mic. The microphone too. Wait, John. Here. Talk to us, brother.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Had a good sleep.
Seeing all of this stuff and what's going on, and
why is the speaker not working?
Shit happening in Canada in regards to.
Oh no, not you.
But anyways.
Oh, that's why.
There we go. Sorry, I had your volume turned down, John. Now
say that
talk
again.
To us.
Hi.
And he's next to a bong. So Johnny, you slept in on the show today.
Good luck.
Actually, I did because I was up reading last night. There's all this new stuff here on just to deal with trauma and dopamine and cannabinoids and just research on, weed, how it helps me.
You were up late. You were up very late.
Up very late.
Well, I'm glad you made it on the show anyways, because here you are.
Yeah, technically
here
you're
I
on
am,
the
and then
show.
remember I called you. I'm like, I'm really tired. I'm going to lie down for a nap. That wasn't a good idea.
I know, you called me before the show, like a couple hours before the show, and you're like, I'm just going to take a little nap.
Just a little nap.
No little nap, bro. Once you go down, you're
full of
fucked.
supplies. I have 3 stores that are downtown that I'm not happy. One of them being the Amsterdam Cafe, Commonwealth Smoke Shop, Cannabis Culture, like all these places were relying on me to come down. So I'll see you in the morning.
We need some more of those medtainers for our Georgia Straight event.
Yeah, medtainers, Georgia Straight events tomorrow.
Georgia Straight,
Grassroots.
what's the Georgia Straight event?
That event's tomorrow. You don't even know about that shit or what?
Grassroots.
Grassroots.
Johnny?
We just had Amanda Seibert and Piper Courtenay on the show from Georgia Straight.
And the Grassroots.
Yeah.
Thing.
No. That's
Grassroots California.
The Georgia
Great
Straight.
guys.
Johnny, the Georgia Straight. We can hear you.
Can you hear us?
Are we going to resume automatically in a second?
Oh, your fucking shit's fucked up?
Uh-oh, Johnny's having trouble. Looks good on this side.
Yeah, we see you and everything.
Yeah. He's got it. He's got his hat on now. But anyways. Yeah.
It's not Grassroots California.
Oh, fuck.
It's the Georgia Straight. The Georgia Straight's Grassroots
Can you hear us?
thing.
I can hear you perfectly.
Okay.
Yeah. So the newspaper, the Georgia Straight, is putting on an event
Called the
Grassroots or Grassroots.
Not the
It's at Robson Square, UBC, down underground by the
skating rink.
Skating rink there.
Sunday, there's some speakers concerts going on there, and we're dealing with chronic pain at 11:30 and 12 and at 1 o'clock that I want to listen to.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely going to be there on Sunday listening to some of the people talking about just different things, what they're using for their pain control and stuff, just because it's something that I am knowledgeable on. Go figure. So I was definitely actually planning on being there on Sunday. It was part of my agenda. But Saturday, I'm doing the Rock and Gem show in Abbotsford.
You love that show. Didn't you do that last time? You left the show early to go to that. Yeah. When was that? Wasn't that all? Did you just go to that?
There was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. You got your time machine warmed up?
I got my time machine.
Fucking going back in time. No, the one in Abbotsford's a good Rock and Gem show. They have like they have the trailer or the tailgate sale on like the Saturday or the Sunday.
Oh.
And that's where you
Saturday,
really want
that's
to go.
where we're going on the Saturdays. The tailgate show is on the Saturday,
That's
so that's
tomorrow.
why I have plans to be there at 10 a.m. because we're looking for certain things that go in glass.
Oh.
Moldavite,
Tektite.
There you go.
Tektite.
Okay, Johnny boy. Well, I'm glad you came on the show. It was nice to talk to you for a minute or two. We love you.
I hope everybody's reading up on the Cannabis Control Act and understanding what's happening in each
Tell us
province.
about it.
What regulations are going through on not being able to smoke. But if you're a medical user and you're covered under the injunction, like myself, I can puff and pass wherever I am to myself. Can't pass anybody else, but so there's all these new laws that are coming into play, and we got that poor video reception. But yeah, definitely take a look at what each individual province is saying in regards to the Cannabis Act, and what province you're living in to see what you can and cannot do. It's important.
It is.
It is.
Awesome.
Times are changing.
They are. Yeah, you gotta get up on the details, man. Gotta know what's going on.
Yeah,
All right.
I post Facebook when I can, stuff like that. But this, we got to post more on the Cannabis Culture News Live. We got to talk more about it. But anyways, that's my input today, guys. Always happy, and always doing good videos on my medicine.
Awesome, Johnny boy. Love you lots, man. We'll talk soon. We'll see you next week on the show. That's our last show before 420, so you got to be here next week, Johnny. Oh, we lost him. Yeah, poor connection. Close enough. There he is. He's back.
I'm always here.
Well, we love you, Johnny boy. See you soon.
Bye.
See you soon, guys.
All right. There you go. Here, I can give you that one back. Take this one back. So, I'll hang up on you. No worries.
Sure.
There he is. All right. Well, that was fun. Good show.
Yeah, good times.
Lots of good stuff on the program today.
Yep.
Even the very nice bong toke. I'm now actually pretty high.
There we go. See? Tuned.
All right, Pod TVers, check out everything we got going on all week long. Shows every bloody day at pod.tv and more where that came from. We got more in the pipe. And always fun, more things. You know, this 420, we're going to have our live feed on Pod TV, so you'll be able to watch all the festivities all weekend long. Even if you can't get to Vancouver, you can join us in spirit. And, yeah, our feed, we're going to have two different ones. There's going to be a feed for the stage, and then there's a side feed that we're working on with the guys from CLN, Cannabis Life Network, who we love very much, and we're working on a joint broadcast for all of y'all where we can get a little bit more in-depth with some of the people that come off the stage and some of the what's going on backstage, and you'll get to get a first-hand look at that. So
nice.
Yeah, fun. So always lots of fun on Pod TV. Tell your friends, tell your grandma, and we'll see you next Friday.
Everyone.
Tell everyone. Thanks, Mr. Cookie.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks to everybody else who came on the show. Love you all very much. And we will see you next Friday. Peace. Drug peace.